Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first annual Cunt of the Year Awards. And here is your host, Pi Mathic.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the first annual Cunt of the Year show. I think I'm gonna have an echo in the background, so I apologise if anyone picks one of those up. With me tonight on the panel, we have the ever lovely Claire Bear. Hi, Claire.
Hey. I'm so honoured to be here. These are festive.
and our resident historian, Godless Scummer. Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
And of course, everyone's favourite person to say the word cunt, Stool. Hi, Stool.
Everyone except Stool's favourite person.
Everyone except Stool's favourite person to say the word cunt. I think you need to warm him up, Claire. He wants to hear you say cunt. That's what it is.
Oh, so is it? Yeah. So, are you very happy to be here for the Cunt Awards then, Stu?
I was, yes.
Okay. It's just not the same.
I guess we're having a show called Cunt of the Year Awards. I guess you wanted myself and Stool on because you wanted some expert opinion on this from people who know.
Yeah,
in other words,
two of the people who ended up on the list are British, and Claire and I don't know a lot about them, so it's going to be down to you.
All cunt meter for British is all on Jeff for this one because
at least three. There's at least three that I could think of.
Krabby Hermit is complaining that her name is not on the list. Sorry, Sandy.
That
you weren't quite that cunty.
That's because, Krabby, it was cunts we don't like.
Yeah.
The cunts that we do like are all in the chat.
I mean, we could have next year we will probably expand the categories and we might have nicest cunt of the year as well. But for this year, we're just talking about cunts we don't like. The mouldy, festive... Yeah, sorry?
Jen may be an Australian, and I know normally Aussies use that as a term of endearment, but we're not using it in that sence tonight.
Oh, no.
We have not with these guys. No. Silverman was on the list because it was voted on. We actually had a show where we actually discussed people to be on the lists, and Silverman came up, and it was agreed upon. So he was put on the list to vote on.
Why?
He must be a very bad man if the four of us agreed. The four of us agreed. He must be a very bad man. Yeah.
And I like what Jeff just
Sammy,
did
I would
there.
agree. You are a cunt.
Did you notice how professional Jeff was just then?
Yeah, he was.
He said tonight. Now, it's not tonight for us.
This is for me.
Yeah.
It is for the host. You always go with the host time. Yeah.
Very professional, Jeff. Well done.
Well done, Jeff.
I know. I learn all my YouTube
Shall we just pretend it's New Year's Day for anybody who watches it tomorrow? Happy New Year's to everyone.
And can I just say, as a result of something on Twitter, myself and Stool are officially no longer recognising Canada as a nation. If anyone wants to know why, you can take it up with Chad. You can take it up with Chad.
No, see, I saw those posts for Chad. I'm staying out of that. I'm done.
Do we need to add a new category for the worst country?
Yeah. Just for the record, you two down there, you're not allowed to disown countries on my threads on Twitter. Go somewhere else. You don't do that stuff. You go to the nicest person on Twitter's thread and disown a whole country.
Claire,
that's not right.
Claire, this is a Commonwealth thing, okay? You Americans, you don't get a say in this.
No, but you didn't.
Just because they're your northern neighbours.
You didn't have my post.
You lost your right to have a say about these Commonwealth issues back in 1776. Okay, so.
Oh God! I did I? Okay, then don't go on my Twitter thread. That's all I got to say about that. Oh, jeez.
And happy New Year to you, Sammy Jenkins.
Yes, Happy New Year, Sammy.
And Dog is saying Canada is the capital of Blackpool.
Oh.
It's a fact.
That's a fact.
Oh.
I do the geographies. That's a fact.
That's good. One of us needs to.
All right. Shall we get into the nominees? I mean, everyone who's voted. By the way, the polling hasn't closed. If anyone's in the chat who wants to vote, it's on my community page. If you get there before we announce, because I will refresh the page so we know who wins. I don't think anyone could vote enough to change the outcomes, but you're more than welcome to go and vote now. If you want to go to my community tab and vote, it won't make a difference. The ones who are winning are winning, and I don't think there's anything anyone can do about that. But you're welcome to go and have a look. But let's start off with the community cunts, and because we separated into two things: people within the community would recognize as celebrities, or within the community, maybe not within the broader community. And we also had international cunts, people who anybody would, well, not anybody. I mean, there's a couple of British people in there who some people just will not recognise, but they are internationally known people.
Yeah.
So we're going to start it off with the smaller branch of that, which is the community cunts.
The little cunts.
And there's 5 people in each group, and we've got a promo video for them, so I'm going to play that right now.
And this is lovely.
The nominees for Community Cunt of the Year are Kent Hovind for The Wife, David Silverman for Misconduct, Matt Power for Banana Man, Kenneth Copeland for The Devil's Double, and finally, Jamie Snow for Money Grant.
Grifter.
Kenneth Copeland is just so evil looking.
He is
really
devil's gland.
To be honest, I mean, really, I would say we might have been taking a liberty, because I don't necessarily know we could call Copeland a part of the community, but it's just probably that he's just such.
Can you call Hovind a part of the community, or Matt? Matt Power tries to inject himself into the community.
They have engaged.
Well, that's
true.
Community.
You could say that, can't you?
Yeah. They tried.
They try.
I mean,
They're very trying.
Anytime. I mean, how many people do we know personally who have been on Kent Hovind's Whack an Atheist? Okay. So.
Yeah.
No one.
No one.
We know conspiracy cats. So.
I know conspiracy cats.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
so shall we start from the person who got the least number of votes on that list? That's everybody's favorite banana lover, Matt Powell.
The Banana Man.
Well, no, it's not. Sorry, Kent Hovind was one of the lowest numbers.
Kent.
Sorry, it was Kent.
Yeah, I was
ignoring Kent.
Denim.
So, double denim. Yes, double denim himself got the lowest number of votes. 13% of the votes is all little
man.
Kent Hovind could manage. But should we talk about why Kent made
that
list?
Who came last?
Sorry?
Who came last?
Kent.
Hovind.
Yeah, Kent Hovind.
Inmate 06452-017.
Yep. I like the fact that I found a mugshot for him.
You did. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. The man is basically a wife beater. I mean, he has a conviction for that. We can say that without getting.
Yeah. Well, I could have said all of that except for the word man. Like,
okay. The rat is all.
Had this award been going back a number of years, Kent would have probably done something to get himself nominated on every single fucking year.
He would have begged.
I mean, last year, if we recall,
I think he might have won last year over the incident with the kid.
Yes,
I don't know how he could have lost last year with the kid,
and with how callous he was about it afterwards.
I mean, the man is an absolute. I mean, one of what Kent does is funny. Whack an Atheist. I mean, we just piss ourselves laughing at it because he has no idea what he's talking about. But every now and then, he just does something unbelievably cunty, just to show what
an
absolute arsehole of a human being he is.
Free tickets to return back to the parents of the child to return back to the
park. Come back to the scene of the crime, and I'll call it a crime.
Here's some free tickets. Come on back. Yeah, no, that was wrong. Yeah, just totally wrong.
Well, there you go, Claire. I sent you a video privately the other day. We finally know a theme park in America that's more dangerous than the action park was. And that's
we do.
Like
you know what it is? He did. He sent me a big old water park, action park. It's actually close to where I am in New Jersey, but we have some pretty dangerous water parks all over the United States.
One of the first parks where they tried to do a water-based loop-the-loop.
That's
like they tried to kill people. Yes, they did.
They actually succeeded on 6 occasions.
They did. They actually did. It's terrible.
They paid some of their employees to go down at first to see what it was like, and the procedure was they got them to strip to their pathers, hosed them down with a cold hose, and then made them slide down the slide. And fun
times.
The description was by some of the people who got out the other end, and not everybody did, because some people got stuck. Was that there isn't enough booze or money in the world to make me go down that again.
Oh God.
But yes, and of course it was a water-based thing, which is what happened to Dinosaur Adventureland as well.
Right.
But, because people, it's not a pool. There's no lifeguards. People, but Kent obviously don't give a shit. But we've got to remember though, technically that was from previous year's events.
It was a previous year's. This year's is more what he did with his wife.
Domestic abuse.
His domestic abuse thing is really what got him on this list this year.
And
the fact that he thought it was okay. It wasn't just that he'd done it; it was his attitude to it afterwards. It was the same with any of his attitude to when he breaks the law. He thinks he's above the law.
Yeah, it's like he says, "Well, big deal."
Now he was convicted. He is appealing that conviction, which is why he hasn't gone to jail yet.
To be honest,
yeah,
I don't know how he's had so many wives.
Here's the thing. I think really, we should have possibly talked about this, made a case for him before this. When after that had all come out, do you remember, in Cindy Lincoln, his, what was it, third wife or whatever it was, told her story or whatever. Kent brought this woman out on stage and essentially it was the new Mrs. Hoven. This is number 4. And then held the ring up and said, "Cindy, could have been yours. You blew it." That was Kent.
Yeah, that's a lovely statement.
What Kent said on his channel. The guy's a scumbag.
Yeah, that's why we don't put men in that sentence anymore.
So Ken Hoven was our final placer for the community cunt of the year.
I can understand why he came last, because he just doesn't seem to rank up there anymore.
He really doesn't.
That's right.
He has to go to. I mean, like I said, last year he might have made it because somebody died and he was a real cunt about it. But this year, okay, he beat his ex-wife up, and that's a cunty thing to do. But there are so many other people on this list who did so many more cunty things than he.
So basically, Kent Hoven fails at being a cunt, even at being a cunt.
I mean, his protege did a better job than him by 4%.
That's right. Oh my God. Yeah,
and
true.
he's the next one on his list. At 17% is Matt Powell. Matt Powell with his lovely Mr. Peel in the backyard, and
I just feel we need to make this point now, just so everybody's aware. Matt Powell has a giant inflatable banana in his backyard that he calls Dr. Peel.
Dr. Peel.
And when we say in his backyard, we all know what we mean by that.
Yes, you know exactly what we mean by that.
He pumps it up for greater pleasure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, when we're talking about Matt Powell being a cunt,
Peel.
He in the last few days has just been a cunt again to somebody else.
What
Those,
did
now
do?
I can't remember the name of the person, but he wrote a comment on somebody's video stream about there's a guy who's part of the things, and I don't know him very well, and I apologize if he shows up in the stream at all because my brain's Jeff, help me. Oh, Jeff's gone. This guy wears makeup on stream. And Matt Powell made a comment about how gay using the F word continuously in this to be an absolute prick about this person. And I mean, this is the kind of thing Matt Powell does all the time. He'll come in, he'll attack people.
And I think we all know why.
Oh, yeah, because you've got to take one look at Matt Powell, and he's so far in the closet, he's rearranging his own underwear. Jeff, help me. What's the name of the guy that Matt Powell was a cunt to in the last couple of days? About the makeup.
I don't know who it was. This wasn't in the cut. Actually, this is an older post.
Was it really? Okay.
It got recycled.
But it was this year.
Again. No, but Matt Powell, because
Atheist Junior. Thank you, Archer. Thank you, Atheist Junior.
For those who don't know, Matt Powell's a homophobic piece of shit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Of course.
To put it mildly.
So is Kip, but he doesn't voice it as loudly as Matt.
I mean, Matt Powell is. I assume he still is, and even though he's down there with Kent right now. I assume he's still an NIFB pastor.
Oh yeah, he was.
And I don't know because Kent sort of his own separate Baptist ministry for the NIFB, but Matt Powell is. Stephen Anderson's the leader of the NIFB. Matt Powell is the sort of rising star.
I'm pretty sure Matt Powell got down on his knees in front of Stephen Anderson. I am so sure of that. But Matt Powell constantly does this thing. He is the one who will show up in the chats of other people's streams if you're well enough known. He's not likely to show up here because he wouldn't know me from Bar of Fucking Soap. But he will show up in streams. He will insist on coming onto other people's streams and then start to abuse people. He reminds me of a certain Darth Dawkins to some extent.
Oh, so he's a link demander, huh? He's just gonna come in.
He's worthy of the title.
I think Darth could have made this list actually.
Oh, Darth could have made this list, yeah.
And I think arguably, probably he should have this year, but
most of it. The problem with Darth is most of us have blocked him now, so we don't actually see what happens with him.
We don't even see him anymore because he's just
I
non-existent.
Think insane at times. Maybe a couple of years ago, when we weren't all dying of weird shit. Those two would probably be up there, but there are just so many cunts.
Yeah.
There's so
many.
All right, so I mean, I think we can all agree that Matt Powell's deserving of being on the list. I mean, he's
absolutely.
But he just wasn't quite.
He wasn't quite.
Wasn't cunty enough. He just wasn't. That banana didn't save him from getting up the ladder of cuntness.
And I gotta say, must play this. Simon Dan, you were a fucking legend for starting that Dr. Peel meme going around about Matt Powell.
Yeah, it was good.
That was Simon Dan is a legend. And see, I can now say that the biggest YouTube channel I've ever been on is Simon Dan's because he put a whole compilation of everyone who sent in the Matt Powell meme. So technically, I've been on Simon Dan's channel now.
There you go.
By the way, I will say, just because the four of us are here, we're not against having anybody else come on to actually talk about this. If you're interested in joining us to discuss these candidates, shout out.
You too can join the content.
You too can join the conversation. Just shout out in the chat or DM one of us in Twitter and we'll send you a link and you can hop in.
You're not wrong, Native. You're not wrong.
But I think we've had enough talking about Matt Powell. So the next one on our list is Kenneth Copeland.
Yeah, see, this is the one where I maybe was like, is he really, was stretching
he's
the
a
whole
cunt, but I'm not
community?
sure if he's due for this list as a community.
This is where I think possibly Darth might have been a better nomination in that respect.
Yeah,
but
possibly.
If we talk about any honourable mentions, I might bring him up actually. But
I think we should talk about honourable mentions. I can think of a few.
We'll when we get to honourable mentions, there's a few we can mention, isn't there? But Copeland's, I don't know necessarily. I mean, the thing I know that I don't know if it's necessarily all been this year, but I know he's exploited the pandemic.
We have people asking for links. DM one of us four, and we'll send you the links rather than us having to.
Don't DM me.
Don't do the DM.
No, don't
he's
DM.
No idea what he's freaking doing.
When we say DM one of us, we mean DM Claire. Is what we mean.
Claire, me, or Jeff. Probably Claire or Jeff, because they're probably more likely to notice than me, because I've got 3 screens.
Can I just say? I'm getting really perturbed right now, because when people do the StreamYards thing and you can't see the side chat in StreamYards, that winds me the fuck up. Can I say that word on the Cunt Show?
You can say that. You can. Look, it's just the way I do things, and it's mostly so that people don't.
Well, it's fucking annoying. So I've had to make my thingy pop out, and that winds me up.
I prefer that though, because then you can type if you want to. So, I agree with Nate. It's atheist too. Powell is the lowest of the low, but still above Hogan.
I'll put my Twitter in the chat. In that way,
do you think it's a no to guess what went wrong to turn Matt Powell into a cunt? I have my theories.
Yeah.
Does it involve a long afternoon in a melon with the pool cleaner? In the melon patch with the pool cleaner?
Because he seemed to be relatively normal, didn't he? His YouTube videos were all about whatever sport he played. That thing with the ball. What did he play? Basketball or something?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he went a bit,
Yeah.
So my theory is, after one of the games, went into the old locker room, saw a boy's willy, and decided, oh shit, I better pretend I'm not. Oh no, I better shout bad things about the gays.
Do you reckon he's been to conversion therapy? Because he seems to think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I think there's that old what's that old internet meme, Haggard's Law. I don't normally like to go there with the whole thing that the most the most homophobic preachers are the ones who are secretly gay, but I don't know why Matt Powell would not surprise me.
I think anybody who believes in the concept of gaydar would have theirs ringing at the moment. Well, if you're talking about Matt Powell, he's
still on Powell, by the way.
Yeah, we were going to Kenneth Copeland, but we got dragged back. Yeah. And I think the problem with Kenneth Copeland is every time Kenneth Copeland gets up and opens his mouth, he says something cunty. But he doesn't necessarily directly attack anybody within the community because he doesn't give a shit about us.
Right. Well, let me brief. So this is an article from 2 weeks ago about Kenneth Copeland.
Yeah.
America's wealthiest pastor, who is worth $770 million, is still dodging $150,000 in property tax on his $7 million mansion by claiming it's a quote unquote clergy residence.
Oh, for fuck's sake! He's got his own compound. He basically runs a cult.
The guy's a grifter. I mean,
a grifter and a cult. Yeah.
I don't want to be funny. Kent Hovind must be in awe of Kenneth Copeland.
Yet he is probably not he's probably not the most annoying grifter on this list.
I mean, Hovind actually got caught and went to prison for his tax shenanigans. Copeland can just do it openly and get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, someone like Kent Hovind must be so envious of a guy like Copeland. Because he grifts on a whole different level.
He does.
Yeah, Kent Hovind is a very bitter man because back in the day, before the internet, before everybody knew he was a massive cunt, he could just travel around from town to town, repeating the same old spiel over and over and over again. And it was new to the audience. Ka-ching. But now the whole world can see he's only got one act and he just repeats the same old shit over and over. So I think he's a bitter old man, which is why he created a compound where he kills little boys.
Okay.
The best part about it is no one could actually go as for this because that's all freaking true.
It's right. I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry, your compound killed a kid. Okay, I mean, we're not saying you stabbed the child to death or anything, but you created this compound that was not safe and a child died. You know, I don't understand why he wasn't just shut down for health and safety.
And the way he handled it afterwards was horrible.
It was
absolutely horrible.
So I mean, one of the things that because I was about Copeland's again, though. We know that this guy has done these silly prayers to try and get rid of COVID and stuff like that as well. Yeah, we know.
If he'd done the whole monkey thing where he went,
but yeah, I don't think there's. To be honest,
sorry, that's an old TV show reference.
To be honest, though, I don't really see these. I mean, there's too much he's done, really, and like I said, he's a bit sketchy as to whether he's part of the community, should we say, anyway. But I'm just looking at this list, and I realise we seem to be doing this in reverse order of who's got the most. We've got a channel here, and that's that's mainly an atheist science channel, and most of the people who watch this are atheists, and the two atheists on this poll have got more votes.
Yeah, I love that. That is brilliant because we recognise the cunts in our own community.
The two atheists between them
got over half the votes.
More votes. Yeah, have more than half the votes between the two of them.
It'll be something that if Kent ever talks about this show, he will point out that atheists hate their own more than they hate us. And but the reality of that is we hate our own when they go bad.
Yes.
And that's what it comes down to. That's what it really comes down to. So whilst we're talking about that, let's get off Kenneth Copeland and let's get off the theists and let's get to the top two. The atheists who got on this list and got voted very high. Because at 23%, nearly a quarter of the votes, we have David Silverman.
Yes.
I thought this guy was going to win, actually.
I did too, actually. I really thought he beat out the winner. But,
well, he fought really hard to get on the list. Isn't he the one that slid off the list and on the list and off the list and on the list again?
Now, granted, a lot of, again, a bit like Ken Hovind, a lot of David Silverman's cunty stuff didn't really happen this last year. I mean, he has definitely done cunty stuff this year.
And can we say, I think we all have as well, just for the sake of, that technically a lot of the things with Silverman, the things he's been accused of but not actually convicted of.
Allegedly.
We better at least cover ourselves on that.
So is he an alleged cunt or is he a cunt?
I think he's a cunt because I don't think it's just it's not just his accusation, it's his reactions to his accusations. I mean, he will plead his innocence, but he is not. There's the element of I have no problems. I mean, if you're falsely accused and you're innocent, you should plead your innocence. But you should still have some sympathy for people who obviously feel that they are victims, even if you're not the person who needs to be sorry about the fact that they're victims. But he shows no sympathy. He is just a cunt towards them.
My problem with him is Silverman is.
I'm so glad I'm an Avatar right now.
Now again, I don't like to ever get into the allegations about him.
Let's just say they're bad. They're bad enough to be.
We just need to go through his fucking Twitter feed over the past year. And just see that it's just he just puts stuff up for the sake of being inflammatory for no reason. It's not even.
He's
like
a shit
being,
poster. He has become the troll of the community.
Yeah,
he is deliberately trolling people. And then just after all these years of being leftist, I'm more right wing now. Yeah, well, you're a prat too.
The one that I disgusted me, and I try to remember. He posted something quite inflammatory around the Rittenhouse thing. Okay,
yes.
And again, very controversial thing that probably you don't need people really throwing hand grenades in on Twitter about that. And then one of the people I do remember that sort of called him out, but wasn't nasty, but kind of called him on this, was Godless Engineer. To which Silverman replied, says, "Oh, you're still about? I thought your wife had cancelled you."
Oof.
That's the kind of asshole we're talking about with Silverman. Okay, whether you like GE and KC or not, I personally have no beef with either of them. In fact, I actually do like Casey. I get on with her, but what the fuck?
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
That wasn't cool at all. That was just out of line.
So he's a contrarian cunt, huh? He says
contrarian cunt. Like it. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. He's gone out of his way to stir up people in a situation where he has been accused of things that it hasn't. I mean, okay, it hasn't progressed to the case of whether he's guilty or innocent, and we can't really comment on that. But he's deliberately going out of his way to alienate himself within the community and push as many people's buttons as possible. The man's a cunt, as far as I'm concerned.
He absolutely is.
Microraptor, we are talking about David Silverman.
Yes, that's who they're talking about. Talking about. But we can't talk about...
Yes, Randy. Yeah, Silverman seems to have changed so many of his views. He's twisted himself around in so many knots. And I think a lot of it's because he's had so many situations where he's got up and said the dumbest possible shit. And then instead of like most people, if you say something that's stupid, you either re-explain yourself to say, look, I didn't exactly mean it like that, or I'm sorry, I probably didn't understand this. No, David Silverman just digs a bigger hole and puts himself deeper in the dirt. And it's what he's done all the time, and he's continued to do it even this year. So, yeah.
So he's contrarian.
I get where what he's gone through is going to probably change him a little bit. I get that, but he's just gone to almost everything. He's become like one of these guys, like bloody I'm trying to think of someone like. He's become almost like Sargon or bloody Andy Warski. That's kind of what Silverman's become now.
Yeah.
In fact,
he is. I mean, I've seen
Sargon.
Some of the things he has said, well, not just like Sargon. Some of the things he'd said, you would expect some of those American guys who think they're TV show hosts who get up and say dumbass shit. The onliners and the names are eluding me for some stupid reason at the moment. And we have Ms. Jenny Morgan. Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Yeah, Jenny.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, Jenny.
Sorry, I just woke up.
I saw it. That's why I sent you the link. We're up to talking about David Silverman at the moment. He came in second for the Community Cunt of the Year. So if you want to add anything to why the man's a cunt, how's your chance?
No, I think it's just a given.
Yeah, he announced himself as a cunt. Everybody knows he's a cunt. He's just a cunt.
No, continue on. I'll catch up.
All right.
We've got one left, so I guess we're going to have to announce our first winner.
So our first winner for Community Cunt of the Year is...
first winner?
First winner.
Oh.
First winner for...
He's quite the content too, isn't he?
For Community Cunt of the Year for 2021.
Have you got a cunt bugle?
I don't. I should have got some awesome drum effects or something. We will be better organised next year. Wait for it, everyone.
What the hell is a cunt bugle? What the hell?
I think we should announce it. We should say.
It's somebody who can queef in tune, Claire.
Well, we got all year to find one. Oh, God.
I guess we could call our winner Dear Mr. Cunt.
Dear Mr. Cunt.
Dear Mr. Cunt.
Jimmy Snow, with 28% of the votes, nearly over a quarter of all the votes. Jimmy Snow came in first.
Do we even need to explain this?
I think we.
We might
have to. There are people. There are people who will watch this and go, I like Jimmy Snow. Why are you saying he's a cunt? Well,
that was me being sarcastic. Like nobody knows who the fuck Jimmy Snow is. Like he vanished. Like he cancelled. Like okay, it didn't work. Sorry, guys.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Gary. If you want a link, Mary, I will shoot you one. But I know it's late where you are. Happy New Year, by the way, Mary.
Well, Matt's there too. Happy New Year.
And Matt, Happy New Year.
Also, Mero joined just in time for her to hear us.
Yes, Well, your ears must be burning, Mero, because we finally got to the announcement of the winner of Community Cunt of the Year, and it is, of course, Jimmy Snow.
No doubt.
28%.
There you go. Hey, that's a pretty good queef there.
But he's every trans person's favorite ally. He said to himself.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking here.
He says to himself.
We are talking about the man who earlier this year tried to cash in on Elliot Page's transition.
Yep.
And made all these T-shirts about supporting trans rights and donated all the money to himself. This man is the definition of a fucking grifter. He is an absolute cunt.
Is that what he did? I wasn't aware of the T-shirt.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Wow.
This is why I will not watch that channel, The Line. And I know there's some people on there there's some people on there who I quite enjoy, like Katie Montgomery's on there, does a show with Arden on there. But I cannot watch that channel or or give that channel my support because Jimmy fucking owns it.
Oh yeah.
I cannot support this prick in any way.
Yeah, and I've just sent Mero a link, so I'm sure she will have lots of things to say about Jimmy. So.
She probably knows
when you sent the link.
More than us, to be honest.
When you sent the link, did you ask her to bring her cunt bugle?
I don't know how good Mero is at queefing. I hate that word. I wish I hadn't said it earlier.
You should not have said
it. You shouldn't. You should not have said it.
But of course, I think
a lot of people are disappointed with Jimmy Snow, Vivian, because he's done so many things like this.
Yeah.
Yes. Lately,
I mean, to be honest, I think there's a few of us, maybe a couple of years ago, started to see the warning signs with Jimmy, but I think it's really come to light this year. I mean, I think the first thing that I think got him on everybody's shit list was the whole thing with Rachel Oates and Gabby Hanna.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that he, the fact that he, I think. It didn't. It probably wouldn't have blown up as much as it would have done had Jimmy not gone. Rachel had done an interview. Somebody asked her. Hello, Mero.
Hello.
Morning, Mero. Well, good evening, Mero.
You have great timing, Mero. You really do. Just as we get to your favourite person and announce them as winner.
Someone had. I'm trying to remember who it was. Somebody interviewed Rachel and they asked her about this whole thing with Jimmy and Rachel. I think gave a pretty, I think if anything, quite diplomatic answer. She didn't
slam him or anything.
No.
Yeah.
She just said it was, But then Jimmy went and did that long 40-odd minute video or whatever it is, and then it had the nerve to say the sad thing is Rachel's going to look bad at the end of this. Oh, no, she didn't, Jimmy. You look like a fucking asshole by the end of this.
He did.
You are an asshole.
Because she didn't mention anything, and he went out there and exposed it all that it was him that she was talking about, because he went out there and acted like a complete ass.
We've got a lot to say about this.
But he does that all the time.
We haven't even got to the really big stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's my favorite part.
I think we should let Mero talk.
Yeah, Mero. Let Mero talk, because Mero has personal experience with Jimmy being a boss.
Mero.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt, how you doing? I used to be one of his top patrons, and he completely ghosted me the entire time. I was giving him $100 a month.
Because he didn't want to answer your questions, right?
And he had an arrangement at the time that he would have a personal conversation with his top Patreon at each month if they wanted it, and Mero never got it. The only time Mero ever got the face-to-face chat with him was because I did a stream with Jen Aldrich where we invited Jimmy on, and he was a cunt about that too, as Mero knows. And that was the only time that he deigned to talk to any of us. And he then complained
he talked
bitterly.
to me a couple of times, but it was an absolute.
He was a cunt about it. And he then complained about all of us that we pressured him into being on this stream. How the hell did we pressure you? We asked you to appear. You came. We sent you the link when the stream was due to start. You knew exactly when it was because everybody else did it. We had Aaron Ra, Shannon Q, and who else was on? Because I can't remember now, Mary.
I can't remember.
you me and Jen, obviously. And everybody else, everyone else, we sat down, we talked about times with them all and everything. And he came on and he shut his mouth and said nothing and left as soon as we ended, and then got all snooty with us afterwards that we forced him into doing this stream and he didn't want to be there. Well, just don't fucking show up then, Jimmy. Don't show up and be a prat. Because that's the kind of country.
There's a word of warning here, a little word of warning, okay? When you lovely people when you lovely people are all YouTube famous, don't treat me like shit, okay?
We won't. We treat you like shit now.
I'm sorry. Can I just point out that I thought everybody here on this panel, myself included, had already been cancelled because, well, we're here.
Because we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Right? We're here.
We could. Well, I got cancelled by Jimmy ages ago. He blocked me when I called him out.
And another thing that Jimmy did was there was a group. What's it called? An Among Us group that Notcher and I were a part. And Jimmy was like, "Oh, we have to have cameras on, because it really helps because it helps us, see things." And Notcher being completely not, known on the internet or
he's
live
like Claire.
or
he's an
visual.
avatar.
Yeah, he's an avatar. He has it for very, very good reasons, meaning like if his family found out that he is doing this, he will lose his family. So Jimmy and Notcher was like, no, I'm not going to put my thing on because I don't want everyone knowing what I look like. And Jimmy's like, oh, I know these people, they're trustworthy and stuff. And it's like, that doesn't mean anything to me. They could be the most trustworthy people in the world. I don't know them. Right. And then Jimmy was like, well, you can't play again at all. Then you can't play.
No,
I basically just ripped into him in the chat. I just was like, dude, you never get the Australians on because we're either working or something going. Like, it is not common for the Aussies to be on at the time, ready to play.
To be fair, that's a problem we have all the time being in Australia.
Yeah, being in Australia, like it's a very rare occasion for us to be on. I was like, I'm not playing. If you're not going to let Notcher play, I'm not playing either, which is a real bit of a shame because I really wanted to come and play because it was fun. But yeah, it's just like he wouldn't accept the I want to stay anonymous thing because like it took Notcher almost 3 months for him to even get the courage for me to see his face because he didn't trust anyone because if one person,
I mean,
I can understand.
I've known Mero and Notcher for a couple of years now, and I still don't know what Notcher looks like because it is that scary for him. We can. So why Jimmy thought he should have the right to see what Notcher looks like is just.
So we've crossed over to entitled cunt now.
Yeah, entitled cunt. Yes, entitled.
We've got to keep the categories right. We've got the contrarian cunt. Now we have the entitled cunt. And he should have won this because the entitled cunt should always win.
I think the right person probably won. Yeah, Matt.
I was going to point out that I just like everyone to know the irony that I've joined a stream where I can't even I don't even say the main theme here.
I'll say it.
It's not a word I add.
You can call him a
every time, every time you want to say it, Matthew, just let me know. I'll say it for you.
No, I think calling someone a Kenthoven here would be an insult to the actual word. So
he was the worst.
Nobody can understand you, so it's fine.
Yeah, he didn't.
Apparently,
Matt, you can call him a queef
we don't exist.
I can actually just point out, as I pointed this out earlier in the stream, we've got 4 Australians on this stream now, and that word's somewhat of a term of endearment in certain circles in Australia.
Yeah,
5.
Well, at least we got 2 Americans this time. I'm not by myself. Thank you very
2 Americans
much.
and 4 Aussies. It's brilliant. But we're Neil. Well, some of us already
are. But Jen. Claire is still an honorary Aussie.
Yes, that's what I
counted.
I counted Claire. That was the problem.
Claire, where are you from? What? Because you sound South African.
Because I'm from New Jersey. Like, I swear, I really am. Born
Claire,
right here in the United States,
Navadia, Claire. I forgot you guys had met.
Nice to meet you. But that's not the first time I've heard that. I've been English, I've been Irish, I've been Australian. Now I'm South African.
Honestly, Claire, you should ask
Claire, you
Mero
have such an unusual accent.
Am I the arsehole stream?
Mero, by the way,
Mero's a lot of fun.
I would, you know what? You hit me. I think we follow each other, Navadia. So yeah, if you'd like to, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Her nickname is Drop Claire.
No, it is not Jeff. Don't stop
She's as scary as Drop Claire.
And next year, Jeff will be on the voting list for kind of the.
Yes, Jeff, you just got nominated for next year. You're going on there. You and Chris, both of you, we're going to be there.
You've always got David Silverman. David Silverman's always.
David Silverman came second.
He was on the list.
David Silverman was runner-up.
He was runner-up.
Yeah. I don't think we've even got to the really juicy shit with Jimmy yet, have we?
No,
you mean the sub-prowling?
Yeah.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Sub-prowler, yep.
The fact that it came out that he uses his fan base as his own personal dating pool.
Yeah. I just call it sub-plowing. It just sounds better. And it's more accurate, actually.
My head hurts now, Claire. Thank you for that one.
I'm sorry, Matthew. You know I love you. But it's more accurate. I'm sorry. It is.
I'm not saying it's a bad claim. Don't get that. Ow. My mental. But also, I just need to add, while people were on intros and who knew what. Sorry. Hello, 420 Atheist. I think you're the only person on this panel I've not met before.
I have not met you either. Sammy. Nice to meet you.
Yes, you.
Yes, you have. It's Sammy.
Okay.
I'm not that rememberable.
Yeah, you are.
No,
Sammy.
I'm sorry.
I didn't recognize with the.
Now I feel
it's all the filter.
Jeff, I just joined you. Next year, I'm on the list too.
I may have been a dancing pickle at the time.
Oh, well, how am I supposed to recognize you if you're not wearing your pickle suit? I mean,
at least it wasn't a banana suit called Mr. Peel.
Yeah, well, I think I would have remembered that.
But,
oh, my God.
Watching some of the Sir Stick videos that he did on that.
Yeah. I think that's the ultimate thing with Jimmy that came out this year about the way he. I like that term, Claire. Sub-plowing.
Well, this is why I nominated him, because during not only was he an ass to Rachel Holt,
this one,
and he does all of that stuff, and then during all of that, this comes out and he gets even worse. Like he just gets even worse. And there's a whole subreddit, there's a whole Reddit, like there's a whole like he's canceled.
I think the guy's honestly, I think the guy's a narcissist.
I agree. He is so wrapped up in his own self-importance. I'm sure he tastes his own ass lips.
Yeah, probably. I just also love the fact that he's just like still going on as if nothing's happened.
That's so amazing.
And he doesn't confront this. If anybody in the community does challenge him, if they tell him, look, what you're doing here is wrong, please cut it back, his first response is, I'm going to block you and you're done, or I'm going to say something about you. And it's like, so you can't confront him. The only thing you can do is get on the stream and say, Jimmy's been a cunt again, basically.
Has anybody else like been watching lately? Like he's got like a new diagnosis that covers everything as to why he's an asshole. It's
autistic. Yeah,
self-diagnosed though.
That doesn't cover it. Like
because I know plenty of autistic people who aren't assholes.
What was it?
Cuntism is not a diagnosis.
That's right. It doesn't fall in the DSM. That's what I was saying. Exactly.
Hence we're not diagnosing him. This is nothing. None of this is medical. What we're
no, he's just.
I'm going to say one other thing, and this isn't necessarily the biggest thing, but this is something he said earlier this year that really, I don't know why, it got under my bloody skin because of this sheer ego of Jimmy to even. Because people had asked about obviously, he basically lost his friendship with Rachel because he wanted to support this girl Gabby Hanna, who's obviously she's a bit problematic. We know there's some problematic stuff with her.
She had more subs for the sub.
I know. That's exactly why Jimmy went with her. But
the right age group.
Here's the thing that annoyed me is. Jimmy was saying, I know she's got some problems, but if I'm her friend, I can change her, whatever. And then he had the fucking nerve to compare himself to Daryl Davis.
Who's Daryl Davis?
Daryl Davis, so those who don't know, now Daryl Davis, I mean, he's been on, I know he's been on Ed's channel. Daryl Davis is a black musician in America, really good jazz and blues musician, but he spent almost 50 years befriending and talking to members of
the Ku Klux Klan,
the KKK. Now, he's got a collection of around about 200 robes of Klansmen who have given them their robes when they've left the Klan and said, look.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The man's a legend, and even it's not just the KKK. Even Jeff Scoop, who was the big neo-Nazi leader in America, who I've had on my channel. He left that ideology mainly because of Daryl Davis. The man's a hero. For fucking Jimmy Snow to compare himself to that man, to a great man like Daryl Davis, fuck you, Jimmy.
I will say something. Sorry, Claire, but I want to say something very, very. There is a person in my life, in my actual life, real life. Well, there was a person in my life. They are now completely cut out. Who has been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and narcissism, and their behaviour is exactly the same as Gabby Hanna's. Exactly. If you saw what this person in my life did, and you could compare it exactly to what Gabby Hanna did to me and to other people in their life, and I'm just like, when people say, oh well, I can try and fix Gabby Hanna, no, you can't, because you cannot fix this person, and they will drag you down. And that was the thing that happened with Jimmy. if Jimmy didn't get involved with Gabby Hanna, he would still be like the darling of the atheist community.
Yeah.
She dragged him down. No, it wouldn't have come out. All of this shit wouldn't have come out.
Oh yeah, that's sort of it. It's
You don't think it would eventually, though? I mean, how long
would
could he have done
eventually,
that?
but not
eventually. You can't
not
do
much
that.
longer.
How did she drag him down?
But she was the catalyst for having, because that's what narcissists do. They just drag. They take people and they just drag people down. Like it's just how they do. It's how they work. And so if you ever encounter a person who is like Gabby Hanna, run like fuck, because they will destroy you.
Aunt Jared said that Jimmy has actually said that he was diagnosed by his therapist, so probably not just self-diagnosed anymore. But he still does overplay it, definitely.
No, it's still not an excuse for what he's done.
No, it's never an excuse.
Yeah. It's like that's just him wrapping himself up in some kind of victimhood. I don't even want to talk about it.
He's always the victim. That's the other thing. He is always the fucking victim.
I'm sorry, Doug. I had to mute you, Dog, because there was too much echo. So once you've got your echo sorted out, you can unmute yourself, and that's fine.
No, it wasn't echo. It's my new computer.
Oh, okay,
cool. Oh my God, you sound a lot different. You sound so much better.
Yeah, I opened up. Well, I got this computer purposely for streaming. I did put a link. I asked someone to help me out with StreamYard in Mid-American.
Yes, I saw that.
I haven't got it. But I opened up Twitter and cracked on with the link, but left the old YouTube of it open. So,
that's what it was.
I knew two of them running
background. Yeah,
out of sync.
Cool. You sound so much better now. No, you sound fine.
Thank you.
It sounds great.
It's got touch screen. It's got everything. This thing, and
you're gonna make everyone jealous now.
Basically, my son has already put World of Warcraft on there and just run it on Ultra with not a single fault on it. So,
well done, Stu. Do you want to read your own tweet, your own message?
That would be terribly rude.
Yeah.
No, who does that?
Well,
Who does that?
Got anything more
I'll put it up anyway so people can read it.
Has anyone got anything more they want to say about Jimmy? Because I think we probably need to realise we've got a whole different category as well.
And we've already done an hour, so we probably...
Can I just say Jimmy who?
Jimmy Snow.
Jimmy Snow.
Jimmy Snow.
I wasn't here. As I said in DMs, I was going to be a little wild, Jen. But does Kevin Sorbo make the list at all as being one of the biggest anti-vaxxers on planet Earth at the moment?
Well, that would be more an international thing, and we do have an anti-vaxxer on that list.
We have got an anti.
We got a huge one on there.
Yeah.
Jen, can I ask?
All anti-vaxxers are cunts. He's in there anyway, isn't he? He's in the mix.
Jen, can I?
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Mero.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just wondering, because this is the first annual count of the year, did you also put John Richards in there as well?
We didn't.
We didn't.
Okay,
we
honourable mention.
Yeah. Definitely. We were going to do a few honourable mentions, and John Richardson definitely deserves to be there. And it's probably somebody who should have made the list.
Yeah, because if you didn't, I would have complained about it.
Mero, you got to do it.
There are certain people for the community list that we definitely didn't put in.
I'm telling Mero how she should do this, and it was her. It was Mero who actually had an interview with him. But you got to do it like a Dalek. Complain!
It was awesome. But yeah, there are people in the community we didn't include. Because there are people in the community that we did not include because of the polarizingness of including them on the list, because some people go, these people are definitely cunts, and other people go, no, they're not, and then there'll be a huge fight, and we didn't want to make that part of it.
And nobody wants to fight over a cunt.
So if your favorite person that you want to call a cunt wasn't included, and there's somebody well known in the community for various things, there was probably a damn good reason why we didn't include them.
What is
Steven? That's the big bullet there.
Did you just say if your favorite person
cunt
that you think is a cunt?
Yeah, that's what I said.
By the way, everyone, Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Oh,
Year.
yes.
I actually have a
keep
new
forgetting I'm
favorite
an hour
jump
ahead.
now.
Yeah.
What was that you were going to say, Matt?
Oh, I had, well, two things. Now that you mentioned it's a minute into the new year for you. Happy New Year. And yes, I'm an hour ahead and the future doesn't look terribly bright, but hopefully that's not an omen for the rest of the year. Well, it's
still nice, so that's...
Yes.
Wait till the day.
We have a long way to go. The other thing I was going to say, because a moment ago people were talking about like anti-vaxxers, but just in general, anyone who's anti-science in that way, he wants to deny all of the useful advantages that, you know, the scientific method has brought people. And I don't care what your background is. You're a lovely, lovely, massive Kent.
Oh, Matthew, I love the way you say that. That's almost, yeah.
So, should we
move on to the international cunt of the year?
Jen,
every time that Matthew it means to say cunt, he says it with a New Zealand accent. With a Kent.
I don't know. I like it, Matthew. I really did.
Now, okay, Jimmy Snow has won Community Cunt of the Year. Should we get to Jen?
The international cunt.
I'm thinking there's a lot of reason that you could have a count of the year. There's
a lot.
There's so many people that are just as bad as Kent Hovind. They should be rewarded.
I mean, he didn't get that many votes, to be honest. He only got 30%.
No, he was on the bottom. He got nominated and he couldn't even get out of last place.
I mean, the best part about
Matt Powell.
The best part about the entire voting on the list, and it just shows how good as a community, with most of us being atheists, are, that we were more prepared to condemn our own, if you could call Silverman and Snow our own, we were more prepared to condemn our own than we were to compare those atheists.
Yeah, that's right.
Those theist cunts. Because, well, that's who we are. We will condemn our own when they are being cunts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Congratulations, Jimmy. Well deserved.
You're well deserved.
Somebody meme the hell out of that shit. I want to see it on Twitter.
We've got the award picture there. I'm going to make a meme of it with Jimmy holding it, and we're going to post it.
Oh, please. Okay. Yeah, you know where he's got to hold it, right? Like, you know. Make it appropriate, Jen.
Is Jimmy on Twitter?
Jimmy, yeah, but I can't send it to him. Somebody else will have to.
He used to be. He used to be. I don't know if he is anymore.
He hasn't blocked me yet, but I'm sure he will if I tag him in that.
Oh, you're gonna have to.
I don't know. This is.
I would be happy. I would be happy to be the person who
presents it.
I've got a feeling I'm not blocked by him.
Yeah,
do you think that'd come really nice from one of his top patrons?
You know that'll be nice. I'll send it to you, Miro. Once I've got it put together
I think you should present him with
that
meme award.
Yes. If anyone deserves the honour of presenting him with that award, I think it's Mero.
Yeah.
Yes, present it. I think that's a great idea.
Deserves that honour.
Yeah. So you get.
I'm good with
that. Jimmy Snow could be having his own company award, and he can all be on the list.
Yep.
Well, as an ex-witness myself, I didn't know that about Notjar, I really feel for him because it was a long time before I made the decision to come on screen myself. I was always just an avatar. If my mother and family ever discovered what a YouTube was, or how to use it, or what the atheist community was, at least, I would lose my family. But
I can understand.
Shall we go into
the decision I made?
Because we're an hour in now, so we go into the international.
Yeah,
I think, or
else
we're gonna
roll it. You should roll it.
420. Right. Just before we start 420, I'll just not Jehovah's Witness. That's where he got it from. Not Jehovah's Witness, which is
we're friends. Me and not Jehovah's.
I'm going to play the thing.
I just didn't know.
The nominees for International Cunt of the Year are J.K. Rowling for Transpired, Donald Trump for Insurrection, Rees-Mogg for Pandemic, Piers Corbyn for Disaster Movie, And finally, Rupert Murdoch for Kingpin.
And there we go. There's our nominees.
Pretty good, Jen. I liked it. I liked it even better the second time. Very good.
I just want to highlight that my early comment about anti-science still stands. So
it does. Yes.
So that's everyone on that list, then, really, isn't it?
Do you know what annoys me most about that? I understand why the person who got the least number of votes at only 3% did, because that's Jacob Rees-Mogg. Mm-hmm. And most people who would have voted on this don't know who the hell he is. And Jeff and Stool are going to probably have to explain this to most people.
I think myself and Stool got you covered on this one.
Yeah.
I'll let Stool actually. Do you want to talk about Mr. Rees-Mogg?
Not particularly, no.
Like that would have been helpful to know before the show.
Yes. Don't ask me either, Jeff. Those deserve to be on the list. Trust me.
Hang on. In my defence, I've had a shave for this, so don't fucking have a go at me.
Not having a go. Gosh. If that's a goal, gosh, oh my god, that's not a goal.
I think we got 3 Brits in this. I'm sorry, Dog. I always forgot you jumped in. We have 3 British people here. I think we should maybe talk about Mr. Rees-Mogg, the man who recently said we should trust the people, not the experts, when it comes to scientific matters. Can I just mention the people in Britain? Okay, this is the country where we filmed a guy with a flare up his own arse during the football match. So I really trust the British people on scientific matters.
But which end?
Yeah, here's why I felt compelled to throw his name into the mix, because I'll hold my head. I threw his name. A couple of these people on this list, I threw their names into the hat. Jacob recently, there's been a big scandal in Britain, for people who don't know, that whilst we were in lockdown last Christmas for COVID, it turns out that in government, in number 10 Downing Street, the official residence of the Prime Minister, they were having a massive
party.
Yeah. And it turns out there's been more of these parties, and when of course
they did Agadoo, the Birdie song, they did a lot, mate.
Yeah, they did the fucking well. And when it turned, and here's why I'm singling Rees-Mogg out though for this, that when this quite rightfully a fucking scandal that everybody was pissed off about. And wanted actually the police to investigate this on the basis of, hold on, you've been pulling people up for social distancing rules, you should be investigated. Jacob Rees-Mogg, just a couple of days later, went and did a speech where he was joking about all this. The man is just a sneering tosser who looks down on the British people as like bloody as plebs.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like him.
This is the same guy who gave us the quote, "Unsalted butter is a sin against the Holy Ghost." I mean, this is we got this in.
Well, it's not wrong.
It's not, but you don't do that in Parliament. It's like, I'm in the opinion that one of the perks of being in Parliament is not having to do the spill run. That was another one of his quotes.
Yeah.
The guy's just a lazy prick.
He's an absolute
not a jot about
piece
the
of
people
cunt.
He looks down on.
He needs to go to the place where cunts go to cunt and die. I can't abide the cunter. I really can't.
I don't really want to bring this up because this isn't something that happened in the past year, but I should just point out one of the most watched videos I've done on my humble little channel was about Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Yes.
He's an absolute apologist for some of the worst things that were done in the name of the British Empire. So the fact that he, on a national TV program, justified the Britain's use of concentration camps during the Boer War, and tried to say that they were it was a humanitarian thing, it was a refugee thing. And actually then even had to say had the nerve to say that the mortality rates in those camps were the same as it was in Glasgow in the same time period, when anyone could fact check that and see that is absolute horseshit. And anyone who knows a bit any history whatsoever about that, the constant, now it wasn't.
It was like watching the Holocaust in colour.
No, dog. I will stop you there, because it was not. Yes, now it wasn't extermination camps what we saw in World War II.
You know what it reminds me of, Jeff?
This was a ploy This was a ploy by the British to win that war, by making war on the population.
Do you know what? Reminds me of. This other thing reminds me of, Jeff. When the Texas Board of Education tried to rewrite history to suggest that the slavery of black people in the U.S. was a way of giving them health care.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is the same. Yeah, that legitimately happened, Claire.
Yeah, because murdering people actually makes them really healthy.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about having any health problems. They can be murdered.
This is public welfare. They got housing and they got health care. All they had to do was work in the fields.
To be fair, the
voluntary castration was one of their biggest. Thank God for that. We had that involuntary castration back in the day. He'd hang us upside down, chop our nuts off. We loved it. Thank God for the white.
To be fair, the American right wing used
all in blue songs about it.
It has rehashed that concept many times for various things, not just healthcare, but it was good for their education. It was good for their family development. It was good for their health. It's just awful. They just keep bringing it up again and again and again. Trying to make people think that it's actually true. It's oh my god.
Okay, I just want to add something here. I know on previous streams I have said quite often that it's not possible, or at least not practically feasible, to make giant space lasers that are capable of setting fire to objects on Earth. But I think all of this and everything we've said so far really, really puts a good reason on why I need to develop a giant space laser that will enable me to carve out a portion of the Earth once we put all these idiots there. I was thinking Florida, but that might be too mean to Florida.
No, I'm all for Florida.
Actually, yeah, Florida's on.
Yeah, Florida's on. Yeah, you can
get
have
the good
Florida,
people out
Matthew.
first.
There's good people in Florida.
I'll start emailing them tomorrow, Matthew. Get to work. Okay.
That would be a good thing. That would be a good thing to do it in Florida, because that's going to be the first place that goes under when the ocean gets too high.
Can we just take time to recognise the fact that Spooky's done his joke?
Sorry?
Spooky's done his joke inside chat.
Oh, Spooky's there.
Oh, hey.
So just a panelist or a nominee. Hi, Spooky.
Hey, Spooky.
So that's Jacob Rees-Mogg, and that's why he made the list. And it's also why he didn't get a lot of votes, because a lot of people don't know who he is.
Was it just me who voted for him then?
No, there would have been a few people who voted for him. There were 75 votes overall, and he got 3% of the votes. So
2 people.
The cunt basically lives. The cunt lives in a castle, and this is English, not British, but English politics for you. He lives in a big fuck-off castle. He's worth like hundreds and hundreds of millions.
He sounds like one of the other people in the list.
Isn't his job title something weird as well? Something like Lord President of the Council or something?
Oh,
isn't it?
what?
Something stupid like that.
And all the little poor people in his constituency who live in the tiny little shoebox houses vote for the fucker because they think he's one of them. And he's a bit of a character.
He's a cunt.
It's a fucked up country.
Yeah, Lord President of the Council.
Yeah,
that's his
song like that.
job title.
But in all honesty,
I
I'm glad he came at
apologize
the bottom of the list. What? Yep. Sorry, Matt.
I was just going to say I apologize in advance if any of my nuke-powered space lasers goes off a little early and burns the world down.
Can I just tell you one?
The whole world, Matthew, please.
Of all the cunty things he's done, and he's done many throughout his life, as Rees-Mogg. when the COVID was sort of kicking off, they brought in this system in the House of Commons whereby people who couldn't come to the House of Commons could vote electronically. So if they were self-isolating or whatever, they could vote from home. He thought that was undemocratic, right? He believes that everybody should be there in the House of Commons to vote. So he puts this idea forward, everybody has to be here, but people have to vote on that idea. Who can't vote for the fucking idea? Because he won't let the people who can't attend vote for the fucking idea. And there was the images of that vote were hilarious and sad because social distancing and all these hundreds of MPs had to form a big long fucking line out of the building, went on for about 2 miles, and they're all queuing up to vote to not be allowed to let people vote. Fucked up.
Yeah.
Very fucked up.
Well, can we move on to the next person on the list, because he got one more vote, and that is
one more vote.
Yeah, and that's Piers Corbyn, the other British person, but he's probably even more deserving to be on this list than Jacob Rees-Mogg.
After what he did the other day, yes.
Piers
definitely.
Corbyn.
Yeah. What did you do the other day?
If you saw the news, we had the anti-vax people stormed a testing centre.
Oh, that's because they thought it was a vaccination centre as well. Because, you know, if there's one thing we've learned is that anti-vaxxers can't read.
And he was one of the people who instigated that riot. I mean, this is the kind of man that Piers Corbyn is. I mean, he's ancient now. He should just shuffle off the mortal coil and the world would be a better place. But he is almost the grandfather of the anti-vax movement. I think I'm fairly safe to call him that.
I think
Jen, I have an image to show you if I can find it. But
Bruce, with a high level of tenacity.
Are we on to my buddy Piers now?
Yeah, we're on to Piers now.
Piers?
Jeff.
Yes, Jeff.
I have a lot to say
about Piers. Yeah, bear in mind these are the lowest ones, and we have 3 others to get through.
So. Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah. I think Miro was talking.
Sorry, Miro.
No, wasn't Piers Morgan the guy who walked off set because the guy one of his co-workers just ripped into him because of his attitude towards
Piers Morgan. This is a different Piers we're on about.
Corbyn, not Morgan.
It sounds
Corbyn Morgan. You know, you all got the same fucking name.
Piers Morgan is a cunt as well, so that's it's easy to But
could we try not to use Morgan anymore? It's
just call him.
It's Corbyn. It's Corbyn, Jenny. Piers Corbyn. Totally different names.
Because Piers Corbyn can't. Corbyn makes sense. Okay, right. I got you.
He's a weatherman in England. He's also a conspiracy theorist and and all of that bollocks. He's basically Kevin Sorbo.
He is a businessman stroke conspiracy theorist. He is the brother of the former leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, and I do not think the two of them like each other at all.
I can't imagine why.
They do not like each other at all. But
he sounds like our Prime Minister and his brother.
Piers Corbyn is like the big anti-vax campaigner in the UK. Something else I heard Still was mentioning, like obviously that we had this incident of a testing centre being attacked. About a week ago, we had another one of these big anti-vax protests in London. And Piers Corbyn was arrested after being caught on film having sort of said that we need to actually start going to MPs' offices and burn them down.
What?
Yeah.
And can I point something out? In the last 5 years or so in Britain, we have had 2 members of Parliament be murdered. Now, we've had a Conservative guy who was murdered earlier this year, and then a few years ago we had a Labour MP called Jo Cox who was murdered by a far right lunatic in her own office.
One of the ones that another cunt that we were talking about earlier, Sargon of Akkad, made jokes about.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So he is out there, the big leading of this anti-vax thing. But there was somebody did something brilliant to him earlier this year. Anyone's familiar with a YouTuber called Archie Manning?
Yeah.
Who does some?
I think I've seen this.
Yes, he's pulled some rather interesting practical jokes on, shall we say, well-deserving figures. He set Piers Corbyn up to see what he would do, and this guy. He pretended that he was going to be a donor to his big anti-vax kind of campaign and so on, and said, "Well, we support what you're doing, blah blah blah." And but he did say he pointed out. He said, "Listen, I just want you to know something." I says, "I do own a number of shares in AstraZeneca." So he says to Piers, "What I just want to ask you to do is, can you maybe just concentrate your efforts more on Moderna and Pfizer and kind of leave AstraZeneca?" And they put a brown envelope on the table in front of him. They said had £10,000 in it, and they showed him the money. So it's more like, have this quote unquote donation in a brown envelope, but just kind of cool the rhetoric on AstraZeneca a bit. We'll just focus on Pfizer and Moderna. And they started talking. Now, cleverly, I've got to say, they swapped out they managed to, by sleight of hand, swap out the real envelope with the real money in for another envelope with 10 grand in Monopoly money. But Piers Corbyn took that money. He took what he thought was a 10 grand bribe to maybe not be as harsh on AstraZeneca. So not only is he out there promoting this vile conspiracy stuff, he's a corrupt motherfucker as well. So that's why I was like, he deserves to be on this list.
Oh, definitely. I'm actually a little surprised he didn't do better. I'm actually surprised he didn't do a little bit better. But to be fair, the next three have epic levels of cuntness.
Well, they're outrageous.
It was going to be hard.
So Pierce's category would be duplicitous cunt? I mean, he would be a duplicitous
and anti-science, I suppose. But...
Okay, all right.
Anti-vax cunt.
Well, they're all everybody on that list right now.
The next person on our list with 19%, I think myself and all the other Australians on the track would like to apologise to the rest of the world for. Except we got rid of him, and he's now an honorary American, so he's your fault, Clay.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not
sorry.
Sorry,
not sorry.
And that is, of course, Rupert Murdoch, and this guy is an epic level cunt. I mean,
we don't claim him. No, we don't claim him.
You actually, I mean, you only have to see what his news networks have done around the world, where he has tried to control elections and he makes and breaks politicians. I mean, this is a man who uses his power, who has way too much power, and uses his power to fuck up anybody he doesn't like and any groups he doesn't like, including minorities, because this man is an asshole.
This man, I mean, he owns a number of newspapers in the UK as well, and has a big interest in Sky Television as well. A very big interest.
Well, he did own it, didn't he? At one point.
Well, it's kind of interesting because after I think it's the Grenfell football tragedy. Was it Grenfell?
Grenfell Tower.
Tower. No, not the tower. There was a football tragedy.
Where it collapsed.
Oh no! The fire. Semi-final
in Merseyside.
Right, Dog. I know this isn't
Hillsborough. Yeah.
Liverpool's not your football team, but
none of them are
from Liverpool. You probably are best qualified to talk about what the Sun newspaper said about Hillsborough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's basically banned in there. Well, it's not banned. Not many people read it now. It's just another red top rag, basically. People use it for toilet paper. I mean, it was pretty.
I don't know how they can use it for toilet paper. Any of Murdoch's newspapers, because they're already full of shit.
Well, that's the thing with Rupert Murdoch. He's just a shit stirrer. And that's what these people can do. I mean, he owns Fox News, doesn't he? I think it's Fox.
Yeah.
He's really tearing it up over here with all this.
Yeah, they're very provocative. These and they did it with Hillsborough with the '96 football. Well, tragedy. I see. It's all. There's a new show coming on the TV for that. A new thing is one of the mothers. I don't know who's playing it, but she's got a proper Scouse accent. And she's talking about they're all fucking mailing each other. But it's you know how I saw it, and people are probably going to have a go at me for it. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. People were wrong there. People were wrong there. Why did 250,000 people turn up without tickets? Or 100,000 people turn up without tickets?
It's a long. I mean, the thing is, I have read into that. I have read a lot about the Hillsborough disaster, and it was a. There was always. I would just say, in British football, a big disaster like that was going to happen sooner or later.
That's right.
But the problem is that the Sun newspaper, which is Murdoch's big flagship in the UK, printed this disgusting article. When we all know it was the police's fault for the way it was handled.
Yeah.
They basically wrote this really disgusting article about Liverpool football fans. Said that they were stealing off the dead, urinating on the police, all sorts. They tried to basically play this whole thing off as these were a bunch of drunken yobbo hooligans who deserve what they got.
To be fair, some of them probably were, but not all.
Right.
That's you look into that. The police are the ones who are responsible for that.
But the really interesting thing about that is that the entire area just boycotted pretty much anything Murdoch. And if you look at the demographics and how they voted in regards to Brexit and, gay rights and stuff like that, they're a lot more progressive than most areas. A
lot of the problem in a lot of areas are purely a result of Murdoch's media empire. If you look at what generates the hate, especially towards LGBT people, it's the Murdoch media. The press that they do is just so destructive, and it's disgusting.
But I think there's one thing though that I think we can, and I know because we're going to be talking about somebody else in a bit. But I think politicians ought to look at the last election in America. And realise that Murdoch is not necessarily the power broker people think he is, because he threw his machine behind Donald Trump
and lost.
Lost.
But to be fair, Donald Trump made
himself
unelectable.
Whole culture, but there's been a whole culture within politics in not just the United States, Britain, probably even Australia to a certain extent. That you've got to kiss Rupert Murdoch's ring to win.
Right,
that's true.
You won't win without him. Politicians have bought that lie, and it's not true.
On that, Jeff, I want to follow on with that and say, so in New South Wales, I don't know the exact numbers, so I'm going to err on the side of caution. But this is how disgusting the numbers really were. So our Liberal Party was reported on, the leader, Berejiklian, was reported on in the time of her term, over 300 times. I think it was like 350 times or something. She was reported on in, I think it was about a 12-month period. That's a lot of stories. The opposition leader who was Labour, was reported on 3 times by Murdoch's media, and all of them were damning stories. So that just goes to, and this poor Labour leader never got a look in. She ended up resigning because she tried to stand up for corruption in politics and against Rupert Murdoch.
But to go to what Jeff said about how Rupert Murdoch doesn't always get away with it, over here in Western Australia, he tried to make sure that the Labor Party didn't get elected last election, and look what happened to the Liberal Party over here.
Just for non-Australians out there, the Liberal Party is our Conservative Party, and the Labor Party is our not as conservative.
It's a bit misleading, but Liberal Party. A lot of people think it's a bit. When you say Liberal
Party, it's because much like
right
in America, they used to. Well, not Labor. There wasn't, but when. They used to be more the other way, the Liberal Party. So they used to actually be more liberal. Yeah.
Also, could I just say?
Sorry, go on, Matt.
I was just going to say, I think 420, you're probably in my state as well. But to Jen and Mero, can I just apologise in advance while we're on the topic of certain Kents for our current premier?
Yeah.
He's a bit of a Kent, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I think the problem's more our gutless Prime Minister over here, who, to be fair, was discussed to be on this list and does get an honourable mention.
The only good thing about Murdoch, Murdoch is approximately 200 years old now, so he's not going to be with us much longer.
Not much.
Yeah, but the evil never die. That's the problem. The evil never die.
He slightly disowned his sons.
Zombie Murdoch.
Because they turned out that it turns out they don't want to be cunts like he is. So he's disowned them somewhat.
Jeremy.
One of them at least.
One of them.
Yes. Yeah.
So he was their sort of gift for when he passes away would be his empire, meaning Fox News over in America land, but they're too not cuntish enough. So he said, "Fuck it, you're out."
Is that why you sold a lot of his parts of his empire to Disney, because Disney are basically cunts?
Yeah. Well, and also what you said earlier, Jen, about him losing a lot of his influence. I mean, he basically doesn't exist in New Zealand. I think there was almost a ban in New Zealand. We have that Murdoch, that media inquiry going on now. There is a major online push to boycott Murdoch media,
and to reduce his power, across the whole country.
So. So I think people are starting to wake up, especially after COVID, especially after Donald Trump. People are starting going on. There's something really dirty happening with the Murdoch media empire, and I'm starting to see the downfall of Murdoch media.
Well, anyone who hasn't seen ex-Prime Minister Kevin Rudd speak on this in a national inquiry, you have to go and look it up on YouTube. It's
pretty good.
He smashes Murdoch.
Murdoch,
It's awesome.
And the fact that him and Malcolm Turnbull together are both, they're sort of like, it would be nice if Malcolm Turnbull had grown a spine when he was actually PM, but now that
honestly, I don't understand why Malcolm Turnbull ever stood for the Liberal Party. He was he would have made a much better Labor candidate than.
I agree. Anyway, do you want to go to the next
film based on him?
Sure.
Tomorrow Never Dies, or based it on them sort of antics of what the media can do, or what these media moguls can do with money and power.
Exactly.
It's the same with these church leaders, or the family, as they call it in America. They just have their fingers in every single bit of pie in the world, and they just control it all.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything good for the world. They're just creating nonsense.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so we'll move on to our next one. And at 33% of the vote, which is a substantial chunk of the vote, and for a while we thought she was going to win, It's J.K. Rowling.
No.
And I honestly...
Can I just say, you Aussies apologised to us on behalf of Murdoch as being British. Can I apologise on behalf of my country for J.K. Rowling?
I think you need to.
Can you also apologise for Boris Johnson as well?
Yes, please.
Oh, Jeff,
especially his hair.
She's Scottish.
Yeah.
She's Scottish.
Is she Scottish?
There's the rule. There is the rule that.
Good. We can blame the Scots.
We only.
I don't think they would.
If they do something really good, they're British. If they're cunts, we say no. They're Scottish.
Okay, I've got a question about
that. That's like us with New Zealanders.
Because when you look at the areas of the UK that are extra turfy, Scotland doesn't normally come up. There's more. So how did she end up so turfy?
I thought she was British, but had moved up to Squid. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think she's actually British.
She was.
I think she's English.
Yeah, she was living in Edinburgh when she wrote the first Harry Potter book. That's well established. I don't know if she's originally from Scotland.
I'm pretty sure she's English.
But she
can somebody fact check?
Yeah,
I'm doing it now.
I know that she happened to be living in Edinburgh when she wrote the first Harry Potter.
It's amazing they haven't
kicked her out.
Actually,
if you go to Greyfriars Kirkyard,
she still does live in Scotland.
She's born in Yates in England.
If you do go to Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh and look at some of the gravestones, you'll see some familiar names. There's a Tom Riddle that's buried there, and a Cedric Diggory, among other that. So you can see where JK's got some of her.
So basically, she went lurking around a churchyard and go, "Oh, that's a cool name."
Wikipedia confirms she's British.
Yeah,
it is in the first sentence of her Wikipedia.
That doesn't answer the question.
She's from Yates in England.
Yeah.
Both England and Scotland are both in Britain. Don't do this to me, please.
I don't think we have to convince anybody in the chat or anything why J.K. Rowling's a cunt. I mean, her treatment of trans people is definitely cunty. But
how come she's such a good writer?
But she's not. I mean, she makes good worlds, but she can't write characters to save herself.
She's terribly average.
She's terribly average.
She is. I think she's overrated as a writer. Honestly,
well overrated.
The one thing that makes me really sad about her is that you could very easily read the Harry Potter books as allegories for being gay.
Yeah,
and it's like.
If you can read anything to mean anything if you want to, can't you?
Yeah, but it's pretty clear. Like, it's pretty clear to me that it's her. It could be an allegory of being gay in the 1960s and 70s, where being gay was you'd be killed, and it's like you could it's so clearly you could read, and it's like. She's talking about.
I love it, Microraptor.
Yeah, she talks about people fighting for getting rights and blah blah blah, and it's like, how the fuck did you write Harry Potter and then turn around and become a TERF?
Pretty much. But
this is actually that's a good point, Mary, because this is the sad thing about her is she actually does seem like she is pretty progressive on certain issues. She wrote that book after the Harry Potter things, The Casual Vacancy, which was a bit political and somewhat left-leaning, if anything. But for some reason, she has chosen to die on this hill.
People have a tendency, whenever you start to talk about human sexuality, they fall back to their second and third grade science classes, and that's all they know, that's all they understand. And because it's something that's completely immutable to them, that they think that that's the way the world is. And it's because it's simple to talk about. They don't have to do any more reading. They can say, look, it's right here. It's in the Bible. It's in this. It's in that. And not recognize that there's been any progress since the 1700s.
Sorry, I can't remember my second grade science classes or the equivalent of second grade.
Well, in your case, fourth grade.
This probably had something to do with rockets.
I made this joke earlier today, but turf biology lessons is basically that scene from the movie Kindergarten Cop. Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. That's her total understanding.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yes.
But the thing that really, I mean, and I know this was last year when she wrote her big long essay, but when she tried to use her own instance with an abusive relationship to garner sympathy for herself whilst attacking other people who'd been abused, well, she can just fuck right off at that point because she is an absolute cunt.
I've seen a number of people do that, and you will use their. I mean, look, and I'm going to say this. I'm very sorry that happened to her. I'm very sorry that anyone who's been in a traumatic or abusive relationship in the past has had some really traumatic thing happen to them. I'm very sorry that's happened to you. But don't bring it in as an argument when it's completely fucking irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. It's
just trying to play on people's emotions at that point.
Exactly. Which is entirely what her essay letter was. She was playing on emotions because she got caught out being a bitch.
I'll put it in the private chat, Jen, but I'm not gonna mention the person in public. But...
And the thing I want to mention from this year is from a couple of months ago, where where a couple of trans people went out the front of one of her residences to protest against some crap that she'd said online, and took photos in front of her house and posted them on Twitter. And then she went up in arms with her entire fan base, saying that she'd been doxxed, despite the fact that the residency is listed on fucking Wikipedia. All of her residences are listed on Wikipedia with addresses and pictures. Okay. And, that's not doxing. They were protesting you. No. They took pictures there. They posted the pictures to show that they were protesting you being a bitch. And then you went and beat a bitch. And that really shits me. And the other thing that really shits me about her is the fact that she complains about when people confront her on her Twitter feed and call her a TERF and call her out for being a bitch. And some of the people who confront her are actually not doing a disservice in the fight against somebody who's a bitch like she is by the things that they say. But she is actually using her platform to denigrate trans people and some gay people as well. And so she should expect this comeback from them. She cannot now, after using her platform to denigrate people, turn around and say, oh, but the children who read my Twitter feed, who shouldn't be reading her Twitter feed anyway, because it's supposed to be people over the age of 13, will see the horrible things that other people write on it. Well, they'll see the fucking horrible things that you write on it. If you want a Twitter feed where you can write whatever the fuck you want about people, have a totally different Twitter account for that, and don't use the one that you used to write to kids, because this is another reason why you're an absolute cunt.
She's undeniably a little girl as a victim personality. That, I'm so gentle, I'm so tender, and all these people are hurting me all the time. And it's like, you're not 12 years old anymore.
Oh, I've been cancelled.
Hurt more people than they hurt you. Knock it off.
Fucking dollars and Hollywood movie contracts. You're not fucking cancelled.
Also, let's just point out, her novels are really fucking violent.
Yeah.
Like, people are being murdered left, right, and center. You're having, torture scenes. You've got people, torture
to anyone.
Yeah. And then you turn around and say, oh, what about the kids that are reading my Twitter feed? And they're seeing bad... Bitch! Seriously? Look what you did to Harry. Look what you made Harry go through. He lost his family 3 times over. And you're going to be upset because someone says mean words to you. Fucking hell.
Especially when a lot of the people who wrote those mean words were people trying to make trans people look bad.
I literally don't get involved in any of it because I haven't got a clue. You know me, I don't like to say this, but you know, it's quite quiet on the internet. I'm known for maybe putting my mouth in it, put my foot in my mouth a little bit, saying the wrong thing. But where people are concerned, if I haven't got a fucking clue with these 100 genders and all that, I haven't got a clue. So I stay out of it. I'll judge a person who they are.
Dog, that's fair enough because I don't. Yeah, okay. I don't. There's a reason I don't very tend to talk about trans issues on my channel very often, unless I've got Jenny, or someone in the community who knows this stuff. I don't tend to go there because I don't really feel I know enough to do it justice. I think that's fair, Dog. To say
that is fair.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about this if I don't fucking know.
Yeah. I'll just judge a person by how I feel about them. There's a friend of mine looks like Bernard Manning, but he's now Hannah.
Yeah,
pre-op, and he still looks like Bernard Manning. Yes, she is. She goes. Yeah. She goes by she her now, and but she is. Shit, she doesn't make a good looking woman either, but she's happy. If you know what I mean. So I'm happy. As long as she gets her around in like she used to, then I'm happy.
Okay.
Yeah. I need to say something.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is not. I'm not expressing displeasure or anger with what you just said, Dog. Okay, I just want that very clear. But what you said is a representation of what happens all the time to virtually every trans woman, and that is that before they transition, they're this guy.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Who has these qualities, and then as soon as they transition, now they are this woman who looks like this or that, and I am sick to death
I've got no issue with
of being that the only level of judgment or worth that women seem to have, and especially trans women seem to have in the society. It has nothing to it looks has anything to do with who they are.
Exactly, and that's why I added on the end, Jen. She's happy, so we're all happy.
Yeah,
that's basically it. All I'm saying is she doesn't make a good looking woman, and she didn't make a good looking fella either.
I think I know where Dog's coming from. Maybe poor choice of wording there, I think, but I think I know where Dog's coming from.
As I said, I always put
Dog did already say before saying that he was going to put his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, he said.
And can I just add to this is that this is a recent thing with her.
It'll take you time.
She came out like a week and a half ago.
Yeah. It's going to take time. It does.
To be honest, Dog, I mean, it took me quite a long time to get my head around it myself. So, I'm not necessarily going to jump on someone if they don't understand everything right away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But he's just
if I can come in between as a last little point here, I completely understand what Dog said, but I think it was your phrasing, and it possibly comes across a little bit insensitive to be. It sounds like I don't give a fuck, basically.
Could I defend my own words, please?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Jen.
I was not attacking you. I specifically said that I'm not attacking you. I'm using what you said as a representation of what happens in the large part of society. Okay, I was not attacking you. I'm attacking society on the whole.
Yeah.
Can I just say, we're going to get tight in on and get really stuck in on the things. I think we can all agree, as most of the voters did, that J.K. Rowling is a cunt. She's a cunt for the way she's treated trans people. She's a cunt for the way she treats her fans. She's just generally a cunt.
But
and
not cunt of the year.
But not cunt of the year. And go on, Jeff. I'll let you announce him.
Okay.
Drum roll.
Cunt bugle.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 and inaugural cunt of the year
is
Donald J. Trump.
Congratulations,
now,
Donald.
Mr. Trump.
You knew it would have to take someone quite special to beat JK, didn't you?
Yeah,
yes,
it had to be someone special. But he nearly didn't. I mean, there's only 7% between them, which isn't a lot in the scheme of things. The two of them definitely trounced the rest of the field.
I think, had Trump still been in office, I think it would have been a wider margin.
I think if Trump had still been in office, it would have gone.
Probably.
I mean, let's face it, if you're just going to count it from this year, and people would have voted on what Trump has done in previous years, because that's happened for all of these people. But if you were just going to count it from this year, the main cunty thing Trump did this year was try to incite a fucking riot in America.
Yes.
An insurrection. January 6th,
which is exactly why I used that movie title.
January 6th. That one event alone, January 6th, as far as I'm concerned, wins this award for him.
It does.
It does.
It really does. I mean, we don't really have anything more to say about it.
Anything else he has done, that alone, to me, wins this for him.
But I just want to add, may I add to this, to why I voted him? And it depends, because there were certain people who were not on this list. But I don't care if everything else he did in politics was perfect. If he was actually a good boy, if he didn't incite those riots, anyone who got up there and played the disease down and helped it spread and killed,
I agree.
or at least contributed to the deaths of how many of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, does not deserve to go unpunished.
Agreed.
Here, Matt.
I agree.
Matt, you're almost a doctor. You're not actually a doctor. Nobody knows more about
but Jeff, Donald Trump is at that level that if you stuck him in front of a senior science,
I know more about diseases.
His question would be, where the SARS
you're giving me nightmares, Jeff. Oh my god.
I will say one good thing about Donald Trump, or at least Donald Trump adjacent.
He glows.
No, there can't be a good thing.
There is one good thing. There is one good thing. Landscaping, 4-season landscaping. The press conference.
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I got worried.
I was just going to have to say.
The black dye
that
sweating down the side of a particular lawyer's head.
That has got to be the greatest political bungling of all time. Human history.
Okay, we all have to
wasn't that right across the road from an adult bookstore?
Yeah. I would imagine. Oh god, that's a little bit. You're right.
And the fact that they played it like
I imagine they had enough models.
That is brilliant.
So just reminding everyone of the pure gold.
Jeff, Microraptor is asking if you could give a acceptance speech on behalf of Donald.
Oh god. Oh god.
I humbly accept this award. I am
That's a lie.
That's a lie. It's a lie. You can't say humble.
I know nobody knows more about cunts than me.
That's the only bit I would ever agree.
I have grabbed enough of them. And this is the thing, you see, and I'm glad democracy has actually prevailed in this situation.
Wait, he knows that word?
Because we know that the crooked Democrats tried to rob me of this award.
That's right.
And so, but we are gonna make cunts great again.
Well done. Well done.
And with that, Jeff wins 2021.
Yes, Jeff. Oh gosh, Jeff, I would have voted for you.
Oh, well done, mate. MCGA. They're gonna have hats.
Can somebody please click that? Someone click that, please.
Oh my god.
I want that T-shirt. Make cunts great again.
We are. We need a merch store now. I think.
Yeah.
that was real.
Clip that, please. Somebody clip
yes,
that.
We will.
We need that. We need that. Yeah.
At least we can say this wasn't like rigged. You know, the vote wasn't stolen.
The vote wasn't stolen. You legitimately won this election, Trump.
You won something, Donald Trump. You
won something.
I don't know. I never thought we would actually put the word legitimate and Trump in the same sentence. I'm like, got goosebumps here. This is weird.
Former President Trump.
I've heard it used in another sentence about him. It was Donald Trump has never been legitimate, so it's not first.
There you go. Okay, all right. I like it better that way. It makes sense. You know, the goosebumps went away. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
It does.
More accurate.
I want to thank you all for being here. This has been an absolutely awesome amount of fun.
Man. We got some honorable mentions.
We got some honorable mentions, don't we, for this category?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a whole class of honorable.
Oh, I got a lot.
Okay, Claire, we'll let you go first.
Go, Claire.
Anti-vaxxers.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're anti-science, you're an honorary mention in my book.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I'll also add TERFs into that as well.
Oh, every TERF is a cunt.
Well, while we're at it, then fundamental Christians.
There you go. All right, so now we're on a roll. Here we go.
Fundamentalists of any persuasion pretty much are cunts.
This is true.
People who think that pineapple belongs on pizza.
Amen. Jeff, how could you do that to me?
Okay. I'll bring one up. I'll bring a serious one up then. This is someone we did actually discuss.
Yes.
As a potential nomination, but
we left her off for good reason. But now we left
her off because there was still the trial going on, and we felt
Ghislaine. Ghislaine. Yeah, we did talk about her. Yeah.
She could have a whole cunt episode all of her own.
I think now she definitely is deserving at least of the honourable mention.
To be fair, had she been on the list, I think Rowling might have got down to third place.
Can I do an honourable mention, please?
Yes.
Can I do one?
Yes, please.
Because Jeff mentioned that certain person there, I'd like to make an honorary cunt of BBC News.
Oh, yes!
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to toss in the Daily Mail.
And the Daily Mail.
Explain that.
The verdict of the Ghislaine trial has been weird as fuck because they've been almost adoring her. And the weirdest thing was they got an impartial commentator on to give his opinions on the verdict. And it was Alan, is it Alan? Dershowitz. Who's actually involved in the trial. He's one of the bad people.
Yeah.
I would like to have a special mention for Cunt of the Year for, once again, the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
Or was it the Guardian? Oh shit! One of the two.
Oh, they're the same.
Got me so who are not followers of trans history. There was a woman named April Ashley.
Oh yes.
Who transitioned very early in all of our currently living people's history back in the 60s. Okay, she was, as a young woman, exquisitely beautiful. She did some top supermodeling kind of positions.
She was a supermodel. Yes.
She was just tremendous. Just a tremendous woman. Aged extremely well and passed away this week. And the Daily Mail took it upon themselves in their obituary of her to, on the very first line, dead named her.
For fuck's sake.
Can I do an honorary mention to Lily Cade?
Oh, definitely Lily Cade.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to explain Lily Cade, Miro?
She was the one who basically wrote a manifesto talking about how she wants to kill all trans women. And she also raped a whole heap of women.
Yeah.
And then the BBC did an interview with, with her or something. It's like I've got my timelines all mixed up and my brain's not functioning.
Well, basically,
Jen, I'll put on.
The BBC published an article which was covering a document that Lily Cade had written, which was basically calling for the extermination of trans people, especially trans women. They said the most turfiest bullshit that you could say, and the BBC just outright published this. And then after this came out, it was shown that Lily Cade had actually raped women, especially as she claimed in her thing that only trans women rape and actual women don't rape. Yes, cis women don't rape. She actually claimed this in her thing, and she's a serial rapist. And the BBC never apologized for this document at all.
And the BBC then proceeded to use her as the quotable expert.
Yes.
In an article about transgender.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, the BBC are absolute cunts, but so is Lily Cade.
Yeah.
I'd like to nominate our illustrious Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, because every month, or every week, he gets up and says the cuntiest things, which makes our country look like absolute fucking prats on the world stage. I mean, this man is an idiot.
One of my favourite things is he said that women should be glad we're not being shot at.
Yes.
What? Yeah, there were women. Yeah. That was a good one.
While we're on that, he was also the person that owned. Okay, for a bit of context, Australia Day is basically when the first fleet arrived and started doing a lot of horrible things to the natives. So make of that what you will. His comment when so there was a whole thing where one of the great sporting games tried to remove reference to Australia Day so that they got rid of that reference to some of the nasty stuff, which is fine. And instead of supporting it, he was against it. And his comment was, well, it was a bad day for a lot of the people that got off those boats as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Having your entire country invaded and having your peoples enslaved, and basically what happened to the Native Americans happened to the Native Australians.
Oh yeah, the only successful genocide. Well, one of the most successful genocides in Australia, in history, belongs to Australia, unfortunately. But I have a nomination, if I may.
Please go.
Well, it's a group, but I would like to nominate I'll narrow it down to politician, but I don't think it has to be. To every politician or every spokesperson who has prolonged this pandemic with anti-science rhetoric.
Yes.
Specifically anti-vax or anti-lockdown or anything. Those people who've made it longer, who've made it worse for every single person on this planet, I would like to nominate them. And they make it very hard for me not to power those lasers up that I was talking
about. I'm with you there.
Well, Matt, we did put Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Did anyone read my last tweet?
So, yeah.
About anti-vaxxers.
Go, dog.
Yeah.
Well, my last tweet was if anyone doesn't want to take the vaccine because he thinks it's dangerous, they should raise their hand. And then fucking slap their big, fat, stupid faces with it.
Yeah, I remember.
Saying I'm an inconsiderate prick.
I saw the ads for it. I think it was Jimmy Carr. As much as I don't necessarily like him, I did like this line. He got up. I think it was on Netflix. So he got up in front of an audience and he goes, "Who here thinks we overreacted to this COVID thing?" And the audience just screams and goes wild. And he goes, "Okay, so that's what the survivors think."
Yeah.
What do you think will happen if we talk to all the dead? I was just like, yes. I
actually quite like Jimmy Carr. I think he's a bit of an ass, but at least Jimmy Carr is one of those
deliberate ass, though.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but he's not a person who punches up. He punches. Oh, sorry. He's not a person who punches down. He punches up or he punches himself. Sorry, he is not an asshole as a comedian. He's rude and obnoxious, but he's not an asshole.
And he'll take it as good as he gives it.
I remember a number of years before Jimmy Carr became a big name.
You mean before he got done for tax evasion?
Well, no, before he was a household name in the UK. He first kind of came to light because another comedian by the name of Jim Davidson had ripped some of his material off. And if anyone doesn't know Jim Davidson, he is a nasty. He's
a prick.
Nasty, racist.
Actually, you can nominate him because he is cunt. He's always a cunt.
Yeah. No, he's not important. He's not important enough, honestly, to be.
No, he's not. But he's still a cunt.
But he is. But Jim Davidson ripped off its material, and Jimmy Carr was like, "What the fuck?" But I actually would say that Jimmy Carr, if Jim Davidson is actually able to rip your material off, might be time to think about dropping it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of people who aren't actually important enough to be nominated, but I can anyway. I'm just going to say Dave Chappelle. Sorry, 420.
I mean, one little tiny action of yours, Dave. Well, little huge enormous action on Netflix, and then to double down on it isn't enough to make you an absolute cunt.
And can I throw in? Hang on, I just want to mention Richard Dawkins is my honorary.
Okay, we had this discussion last week, and
we gave him the stroke pass, didn't we?
Yeah, we gave him the stroke pass because
we gave him the diminished responsibility.
Because he has become more and more cunty since he had his stroke.
Yes, but he
was a cunt
wasn't there
beforehand.
plenty of cunt before?
Oh yes, there definitely was plenty of cunt before.
So,
but
all right, let's say I nominate pre-stroke Dawkins.
There you go.
That's perfect. I've been trying
you can have that. Yeah.
I've been trying to tell atheists for nearly 20 years that Dawkins is a cunt, and no one listened to me.
Yeah, he was a cunt beforehand, but he's been more cunty since. Is definitely the case. Which is why he was not on the list and why we didn't have him voted for. But yes, he is a cunt.
Can I also nominate a community cunt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to nominate Lilith because she continues to this day to want to continue to eat me. So
not in the good way, I'm
probably
guessing.
No, she still wants to eat me. She's sitting here staring at me going, I want to be fed. And I'm like, no, you can't be. So I do wish to, like, in a loving way, of course. I mean, I'm not going to hate on her for wanting to eat me because, you know, she's got the intelligence of a petri dish. So
I would like to nominate them dog breeders that breed, you know, them dogs that look like a shaved gizmo off Gremlins and a cross between a bat, and people have them in the handbag. Whoever breeds anything, especially in Australia, because in Australia they're venomous and they'll have your leg off.
I want to know.
Australian hamsters. That's my old cliche of naivety where Australia is concerned.
You mean drop dogs?
Drop dogs.
Drop dogs.
I don't know what they are. They just put them in them little bags, don't they? And they've got these massive.
Spin them around your head and hit people with them.
Like a shaved gizmo. They just look so like malnourished.
There's not enough room to swing a dog in here.
We'll
get a smaller dog.
Yeah. Except in Australia, where they're venomous and they will bite your leg off if you let them loose. They'll have your leg off in one bite.
What species are we actually talking about here?
We're talking about a gizbat. They're called a gizbat dog, a shaved gizbat dog, or a hairless gizbat. It's a cross between Gizmo of the Gremlins and a bat.
Yeah, I know the dog you mean. They're horrible.
It's a gizbat.
Are you talking about chihuahuas?
Yeah, they look like a chihuahua that somebody has shaved very, very closely.
Ooh.
Yeah. Wow, I've never seen one.
They're bred to be hairless. You know, like those hairless cats? They bred these dogs to be hairless.
Oh.
So it looks like a testicle.
Well, they have hair like Gollum. They have hair like Gollum off Lord of the Rings. A bit like Jeff.
Yeah, they're like Gollum.
A whole new category for cunt of the year for Australian wildlife. I
think so.
To be fair, the entirety of Australian wildlife is a cunt of the year.
Women.
I'm with Meryl on that one, Jeff, because you can't. No,
it's too hard.
If you go to try and nominate Australian wildlife, I think it's more of a question of what is not trying to kill us all the time.
Well, one of my favorites.
Until you go near one, boom, you're dead within 3 seconds of it touching you. You only have to touch the fur of a bunny rabbit in Australia. You're dead. Well, you don't even make it to the phone, mate.
What?
Matthew, I don't want to be I don't want to be an Australian anymore. Like it sounds dangerous.
By the way, dog, they're called drop bunnies.
Is that what the dogs are called? Drop bunnies.
They're drop dogs.
Jeff, why didn't I get
everything's waiting in trees to drop down and kill you.
In Australia, they're all there to kill you.
One of my favorite stories about Australia. The very first camel that was ever brought into Australia actually managed to shoot its owner dead with a gun.
The camel did.
Yeah, the camel. And this is not a joke, Claire. I'm not making this shit up. But the moral of the story is even the imported wildlife in Australia is trying to kill you.
Hey, look, we had a war with emus and nearly lost.
Yeah, emus. We lost the war with emus. So.
Okay. I need to know how the camel shot him, Jeff. There's more to this story. I need to know.
I'll try and find it.
Well, okay. You need to send this to me. We are going to have an Australian wildlife episode where we talk about Australian wildlife.
I'll find that.
I want to be involved in that. Because I know it's all there to kill you. When I watch Meryl's videos, I'm like, oh, she's going to die, she's going to die, she's going to die. And she's playing around with that snake. I think it's going to do it. One that only has to look at you wrong, that snake, she'll be dead. And we'll have no more fun.
I'm surprised they're dead right now. I mean, seriously, she's like.
Did I do one last cunt of the year?
Yes, please. Please, Jen.
This will be a constitutional cunt of the year. I would like to give the award to the the various groups all together. The Focus on Family, the Family Research Council, the state legislatures for Texas, Idaho, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, and a couple others, those red states, for insisting for about the fourth decade in a row that they don't believe that the Constitution says anything about separation between church and state, and have been trying to use their influence and power to manipulate voting totals and to destroy and remove trans people from the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Can I?
Mississippi did a former accountant, didn't they?
I would also like to nominate Telltale's daughter's ex-teacher.
Oh yes,
definitely. Fuck yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And the people where he lived, where he was getting death threats and legitimate. These weren't.
That was absolutely awful.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody doesn't know what happened, but Kylie, which is Telltale's daughter, her teacher was breaking the law and preaching Christianity in the classroom in a non in a health class, so not religious class, in a health class, which is illegal. You can't do that. And so they complained, and then 3 weeks later they'd been chased out of their house and out of their home.
They were Christians.
Yeah, so I want to nominate that entire.
All about love, the old Bible. It's all about love, never hatred or anything like that. It's all love.
Yeah. I was there was a legitimate worry that they were going to die.
Yes.
A legitimate worry, and a legitimate worry that Kylie was going to get kidnapped. So, I want to nominate them, and it's still.
Yeah, and as Junie says, her name was Karen.
Probably.
It should have been. Yeah.
To be fair, Jen, you can stream this forever. You can stream this 24
we could go on forever. We could have
still keep coming up.
The 24-hour cunt thing.
I can't believe no one mentioned Boris Johnson yet.
We did. We
gave. I would say last week when we talked about this, Boris was discussed. He didn't. We kind of went with Rees-Mogg instead as a sort of British Tory nominee, but Boris was definitely talked about.
Boris is not so much a cunt as he is a shit stain.
We voted him down because
you don't get white dog poop anymore, though.
I mean, he's a cunt purely because of his hairstyle.
That's what I was going to say. We kept him off the list because nobody wanted to look at that hair for the whole thing. He's ridiculous.
He's another politician that looks like he wears a rug.
Hold on. Okay, one more, and I know Stall is going to back me on this one.
Okay.
If we are going to do one more honorary mention of a politician on this stream, there's an honorary mention for Cunt of the Year. It is one British politician by the name of Priti Patel.
Yes.
If you put her on the list, she might have actually got a lot of votes because people actually know who she is.
Damn, I wish I had done, because she was high on my shit list early, especially during the football, with the Euros earlier this year, with the football. She effectively gave the racists a mandate to boo the England team whilst they were taking the knee. Then when the England football team started doing well in the Euros, she sort of jumped on the bandwagon. Yay, go England! And it was like, and then of course England lost in the final, and the racists came out because a couple of the players who missed the penalties were black players, and the racists came out in absolute force, and it was disgusting. And Priti Patel enabled these people, and I'll say this: I'm gonna take a little deviation for, shall we say, honourable mentions for good people of this year, the England football team. Whatever you think of sports and football, they represented England brilliantly throughout that whole thing. They didn't just take the knee just in support of Black Lives Matter. They also wore armbands for pride during that whole tournament.
Yeah,
they were absolutely the best of our country during that time, and our politicians were the worst.
They still are being the worst, to be honest, Jeff. The sooner you get rid of those Tories like us, we getting rid of the Libs, the better.
Can I just say on a lighter note that I posted last week that you can change your Amazon to have different accents.
Oh,
you can have Alexa to have, and if you don't believe me, and I've changed my Alexa to have a pretty accent. And it responds now to pretty. So hang on.
You called her pretty.
Let me get that. Right, hang on.
Okay.
Hey, pretty. It's not responding at all now. Stupid thing.
I love it when things don't work.
Can we do a few honourable mentions of good people?
By Chris Rea
on
Amazon Music.
No, I don't want Chris Rea, you stupid.
Shout immigrants. Shout dingies.
I actually just say, I heard what Mero just said, and I think that might be a good note to end this on.
What was that, Mero?
Yeah. Have honourable mentions for good people who've done good this year. I want to nominate.
Good. Yeah,
I want to nominate people. Fauci. I want to nominate Fauci and all of the,
nice.
all of the people who have been working really, really hard to like the science communicators. And I know I'm putting myself in that position, but any science communicators, people who've worked really hard, for me personally, the Skeptics Guide to the Universe, Skeptics with a K, those podcasts, absolutely wonderful. Matt, Jen, Lizzie Lang, for example, all fantastic. And I want to nominate Scientist Mel. So anybody who's been trying to explain and do anything, all of the science communicators, I want to put special hats off, not because I'm part of it, but because I feel your pain. And that's actually the main reason why I haven't been on YouTube this year, is because I just couldn't continue saying, just explaining shit. I just broke from the so I just want to say hats off to all of the science communicators and pro-vaxxers and all of them. So thank you. Honourable mention to all of you guys.
Well done, Mara.
My name off that for a second, for a moment. I will second that notion.
Yeah, I will second it.
Meryl, you deserve award to be listed on. It's a roster. There's not just one person. Of the best allies to the trans community there is on the planet. You're exemplary, and I'm so proud to call you my friend. And your hair looks great today.
Your hair, Mara.
Oh, thank you. I've had one of the worst haircuts I've ever had in my life. Not that long ago.
I love it. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Can
that's wonderful. Thank you.
Can I make an honourable mention to someone? Then, okay, if we're going to people who are not handsome, who've done good things. This is a guy who sadly passed away early this year. I'd like to say Captain Tom Moore.
Bless him, yeah.
Bless that man. He was a World War II veteran, died early this year, but he came to light last year on his 100th birthday when he started doing this big walk for charity to raise money for care for COVID treatment.
It was for the NHS, wasn't it?
For the National Health Service, and he raised millions. And he was 100 years old whilst he was doing this, and he died earlier this year. I think he just turned 101, but he quite rightly got a knighthood just before he died as well. But great guy. Who's again one of the best of us, and not the.
And for those who live under a rock and don't know the story, because it was COVID, he obviously couldn't go out, and so he did this in his backyard.
Yeah.
And he just walked round and round his backyard.
Really?
The original idea, he wanted to raise, I think, £1,000 by doing 100 laps around his garden. Word got out, and he ended up raising, it was tens of millions of pounds.
Yeah, it was about 140 million he earned in the end.
Wow.
Cool.
That's impressive.
Could I nominate
like just human endurance, isn't it? He was so inspirational that everyone just sent him money. Even I sent money myself.
But he sadly passed away earlier this year. But I thought he deserves a mention for people who are not cunts and who are deserving of being good people.
Right. Could I nominate for being good people? Most of the original cast of the Harry Potter movies for standing up to JK and telling her that she was being a bitch.
Oh, there you go.
That was brilliant.
Yeah. That was. Yes, good for them. That is.
And Daniel Radcliffe did an amazing rendition of him dancing around in glitter shorts and I mean, he has to work on his glutes. He has pathetic butt cheeks, but honestly,
I just love the fact that all of them basically stood up and it was just great. And I mean, even the Fantastic Beasts people also stood up and said, "Look, no."
Yeah.
And I really that is nice to see.
But
that,
it is. JR says that she or JK says that she made them famous.
Oh yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
and nothing to do with the movie studio
whatever.
Or whatever.
Alexa.
You don't have to be grateful.
But that's one of those attitudes. She thinks the world owes her something, and that all these people owe her something. She's very entitled.
She only wrote the basis of the movies. The screenplays were completely different than her books. It was taken from the theme of her books, and the characters were similar to the characters in the books, but the writing for the movies were original, and she did not make anybody. A star.
My argument for that one is that you can be
and protagonist of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter book series. Harry on his 11th birthday learns that he is a wizard and
Indian Alexa, man, I'm telling you.
Practice magic.
Indian Alexa, it's hilarious. People think I'm a racist, but I think it's just so funny. It's a cliche. It's blame fucking Amazon for that, not me. I have a too much problem.
with J.K. Rowling saying that, oh, I made you. It's like, you know what? That sounds like to me basically the abusive parent going, oh, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Could we also nominate as being really nice cunts and great people everybody who went and got vaccinated, everybody who still wears their masks when they need to, everybody who is doing the right thing? You guys are fucking
mean reasonable
awesome.
People?
Yeah.
We're like actually going to just let all the reasonable people in here. Yeah, that's a good one. Because, yeah.
Could we roast some drop bears?
Well, that's what anti-vaxxers will be finally known as.
Well, they're all nominated as cunts anti-vaxxers anyway.
That was the first. They definitely are a class of their own. Yeah.
So, and I'd like to nominate everybody who's been in the chat for being absolutely wonderful and really contributing, even though I haven't put up everything that everyone said, because I've been enjoying the conversation so much.
Funny.
You guys are awesome.
Pretty funny
so
stuff.
Thank you. Yep. I think we might wind up now because we've been going 2.5 hours, so I think it's about time to wind up. But I just want to say
2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and it's really late for some people here. A really big thank you to Matt, Jenny, Mero, Dog, and Sammy for hopping on the panel and being a part of this. It's been awesome to have you here. A huge, enormous thank you to Claire, Jeff, and Stall, who are my partners in crime in getting this going. Thank you so much. I didn't rely on you guys as much as I should have, but I've had one of those weeks, but it still came together.
Yeah.
And
we did.
I thank you all. This has been absolutely awesome. I've had so much fun. I hope you guys have all had so much fun with it too.
So did we have it technically? Did we all come together on our cum bugles?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we had a great
I just said
conversation.
cum bugles. I didn't mean to say cum bugles. Sorry.
Yeah, you didn't.
I think we solved all the issues of the planet while dishing out the correct version of who is an actual cunt.
Can we edit that bit out, please? I just said cum bugle.
No, we need to clip it.
No,
instead.
we can't. No, we're going to clip it. It's actually immortalized.
And very much, definitely, congratulations to our two winners, Jimmy Snow and Donald Trump.
Yes,
I don't think we could have had more deserving winners than what we got.
I never doubted Donald in a second. It's just a name, you see.
Yeah.
So now we get to go into Twitter and we get to announce the cuntiest cunts. Like we get to really,
we get to announce
the cuntiest cunts. Like that just fits Mr. Snow so well. I can't wait. This could be good.
So everyone,
I just have one quick question. Jen, does our almost a doctor? Does Matt know he's really cute?
He's adorable.
He knows.
He is. It's true. I mean, he's pretty attractive.
Yeah.
What?
He's also gone red now.
Oh my god.
He's also asleep apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes, I am almost asleep, but that's more to do with the time.
And that voice. Oh my god.
So again,
well, I better do more podcasts.
Does anyone else have anything coming up over the next couple of days? Because if you need to announce it, please announce it now.
No.
I might. Yeah. I am planning for our Sunday morning, which would be for UK afternoon and US. UK evening, US afternoon. I believe I am going to do my first proper live stream. Yes, I did do one for Christmas, but this will be the first one. I am still not 100% sure exactly what the topic will be, but the live streams on my channel will be 2-parters. The first part will be me and on as many occasions as I can get guests / co-hosts chatting about something I found interesting in science that week or that fortnight, and the other half will just be Ask Me Anything. Yeah. And I mean anything as long as it's family appropriate.
Oh, family appropriate. Oh my.
Oh jeez.
Oh my. Oh jeez.
That's never going to work, Matt. Trust me.
A couple of things, but
challenge accepted.
I need to know what is your philosophical viewpoint of the TARDIS?
Oh yeah, there's a good one.
I need to know that.
It's not.
Get back to me when I've had some sleep.
I just had the most disgusting description of it come into my head, and I'm not saying it.
Guys, the Science of Doctor Who future stream.
I think
it's not navy blue, it's royal blue. Get it right.
Yeah.
Mara, I think for one of my favourite lines from, although Jeff might know who actually said it, was from Mock the Week. It was, that is the last time we ever park the TARDIS next to the Portaloos at Glastonbury.
That sounds like a Frankie Boyle thing to me, but yeah.
I don't think it was him.
Did anyone else have anything else to announce before we wind up?
Yeah, for me,
yes. I have two things I'd like to mention.
Okay.
In 14 and a half hours, I don't know about you guys, but it's going to be a new year at my house in about 14 and a half hours. Isn't that amazing? And number two, how come none of you Aussies made comment on my name today?
You're really small on my screen. Let me see.
Why are you angry when you go south? I don't get it.
Yeah,
I didn't get
it. I think I get it. I'm just too tired to show too much emotion.
Are you talking about the Southern Cross?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I was just it's too late at night, Jenny. That's the problem.
All right, it's obscure. I admit it. Sorry.
All right. And Dog, you had something.
Yeah, obviously, with my new computer, it's all gimped up and it's all blended up. I'm still working out to use Blender. I'm halfway through opening sequence, but I can't do them both at once. So I normally do Blender. I'm learning about Blender, normally dressed as a GIMP to be fair, and I'm learning about GIMP sitting on a Blender. But that Gospel According to Dog is up and coming. It's all written. Unfortunately, I haven't got a superstar to endorse it anymore. And he can't say anything either, because then all his bollocks he said on the news about, I don't read my comments, is wrong, because he said he wouldn't do it because I've questioned him too much on Twitter. Prick. I won't mention his name. He's a conspiracy theorist, fucking Hercules prick who I hate.
So an honorary cunt.
Yeah, he's the honorary cunt.
That's Kevin Sorbo, isn't it?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You said it.
Well, you said cunt. What were we supposed to think?
Arnie plays it. Arnie Schwarzenegger played Hercules when he went get to the chopper. He played it as well, not Sorbo.
Yeah.
And Sorbo reduced his price to like $30 as well, from $70. He's so desperate, that man. Fucking desperate. $40 off.
Dog, let it go. Just let it go.
That's a fucking long-haired conspiracy theorist prick has fucked me off. He is a proper cunt for fucking me off the way he did. He is actual real cunt, and that's not out of context either. Well, you're just you're cunt still, but that's in context. You're a friendly. Well, I'm a cunt as well. But Sorbo is an actual cunt.
I have a cunt.
Just shared a link in the. I've just shared a link in the live chat. I've got a couple of things to plug. Yeah. I'll just put a link in the slide, but I am on the old TikToks now as well.
So disappointed in you, Jeff.
Good too.
Yeah,
it was funny.
I'm not doing anything serious there. I'm just pissing about, having a laugh, and the last one I posted was this, and it just said this: Ghislaine Maxwell did not kill herself.
I know.
She's still alive.
Sorry, I was just getting the practice in.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said too. That whole thing.
But yes, I'm on the TikToks. I don't have a date set in stone, but sometime within the next week or 2 weeks, hoping to have Tim O'Neill back on my channel. We're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the burning of the Great Library of Alexandria. So, I love my history, so I'm always happy to get a guy like Tim on, who I'm going to tell you now, his blog's worth a read, even if Tim can be a little bit sharp at times. He does correct a lot of people in the atheist community on some bad history that they spout quite regularly, and Tim is very good at that, and it's worth checking out.
Oh, I'd like to make one mention. This has nothing to do with anything anybody talked about today, but I'm just so excited over it. I have to say something. Go on YouTube, folks, and look up Astronomy Live.
Oh,
yes,
right.
Yes,
long-term YouTuber, and he's got a couple of new videos up that are just absolutely awe-inspiring. One is he's done before, but he's an astronomer and he's a brilliant programmer, and he wrote a program to be able to track the space station as it goes overhead.
Oh, come on, Jen. You know the space station doesn't exist.
Yeah, I know. But okay, this figment of our imagination is called the space station.
It's little reflective insects crawling on the dome. That's what it is.
And when you can't explain moon phase, and you get rid of the moon as well. The moon doesn't exist.
He's got a really brilliant video up of that right now of it passing by Jupiter.
Yeah.
And the other one that he's got that is just like, I just dropped my jaw when I saw it, is he's been tracking the James Webb Space Telescope on its trip to the Lagrange point.
That was a wonderful live too. You should have seen the amount of people that came in there on that. I was so happy for him. It was really good.
And and good on Astronomy Live. Just by filming this stuff, he seems to cause so much butthurt to flat earthers. It's brilliant.
It's not much butthurt to flat earther, to be honest. Was there anything else anyone wanted to add? All right. Well, thank you again, everyone. This has been a lot of fun. We will definitely be doing it again next year. As we get closer to the new year, we will we'll probably be a bit more organized at the end of next year, and actually have a few streams beforehand where we get nominations and stuff, and have more categories and more voting. And it won't be on my channel because we're going to share these around between those of us who are interested in doing them. So look out for that for the next year. But in the meantime, thank you everyone for joining us.
Probably. This is a bit makeshift. We'll probably have to establish this a bit more formally with some certain rules or whatever for next year. But
wait, how do you get rules in a cult stream?
I think it should be done in categories, demographic categories, and male, female, and then you have the ultimate cunt, like the Oscars. You have the ultimate.
There's lots of ways we can do it, and we've got plenty of time to get it right.
Fight to the death.
It's cunt wars all over again.
It's like the Oscars, isn't it? You have this, best actress, best actor.
We're going to have the mud fight of cuntdom.
I'm gonna say,
Jim, what would the statue look like though?
A cunt?
Have that.
What do you think? They look like a cunt.
I actually think I might make a proper mold. Or
that'd be awesome.
Or 3D print one.
That would
next time around, and
3D print one.
Oh, maybe you could go and use the Vagina Museum's Vagina Wall art piece.
There you go.
As your thumbnail.
Australia, Jen. Australia, Jen. Did you not show the golden code?
I did during the intro.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't get to see it.
Didn't you?
It's huge. It's gorgeous. It's a big giant.
Don't worry, we've already discussed this. We are going to have pictures of the winners receiving their golden cunts, and we're going to post them up on Twitter.
I can't wait. Just make sure you put that appropriately on Snow.
Can I just actually point out the great irony of Mr. Advocate for the downtrodden, the oppressed, and minorities, winning the same award as Donald Trump in the same year.
Isn't that glorious? Isn't that glorious, Jeff? I was very amused by that. Actually, it's perfect.
And also, won't gold and orange when he's receiving his award? Won't that just blank out the screen? Isn't that just so clashing? The clash is there, orange and gold.
But Jimmy's such a nice guy, and if you don't believe me, ask him.
We are going to wind up because we're pushing towards 3 hours now, so we are definitely winding up.
I have to go.
Thank you all again. Have a happy New Year, everyone, and
Happy New Year,
everyone.
Try not to be a cunt.
Thanks for being here, chat. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.